So we're ready to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And this is us, the very first episode of the James English Anything Goes Cat podcast. And we have our very first guest, the best man, the absolute legend, which is Stephen Rowan.
Thank you very much for having me, not only on your show, but in your very first show. Mm-hmm. So it means that you and I kind of set the tone for the rest of your series.
Raising the bar, are we?
Well, yeah, I think when you get the first one, somebody listens to it, and that's kind of what they expect. So I think to talk about certain things, it was all like very, very serious, which will not be tonight, because that's not me, it's certainly not you. And that's what people would expect. So yes, I suppose this kind of sets the tone.
Mm-hmm. Good to have you on. So like I say, mate, everything raw, no bullshit, no pens and paper with questions, just basically talking about everything, mate, and anything. So how's your day been so far?
It's been pretty good. I got up this morning at 5. Yeah, I was up at 5. In fact, I was up just a bit before 5, and then I went to the gym, trained my pal Mark. And not only is it an opportunity to train, but it's also really good because, you just get to talk about whatever. Mm-hmm. So it was nice. I had a mutual friend that I'd actually podcasted the night before, so we're sort of shooting the shit about that, which was really great. And I've been trying to get hold of this guy for a year, and he also knew this, so it was a bit of a celebration over a back workout. And then after that, it was back to the house, nice breakfast, cuddle with the cats, and seen my missus, and then just domestic engineering on a Friday. So I find that if you have your house cleaned on a Friday, and if you have all your domestic tasks taken care of, i.e. the washing is up to date, the dishwasher is emptied, there's food in the fridge, it just means at that point then the weekend is then yours to do fun stuff. So
I like it, mate. That's a good plan. People usually start on the Monday.
But I just think that if you have that, it means that your stimuli for the week you're controlling, and you're approaching the week and you're approaching the weekend with an open mind, as opposed to thinking, I need to get this done or I need to get that done. It just means as well at 6 o'clock at night, as opposed to me having the opportunity to come here and do a podcast, I might have been going home to either do a workout or to go to the supermarket. I mean, who wants to go to the supermarket on a Friday night?
Not me anyway.
But if you said to me, do you want to do it on a Friday night or a Monday morning, I know which one I'd be choosing.
Mm-hmm. I like your way of thinking. So I know you do your podcast yourself. You were saying you were starting off with 1. What's the motive behind it when somebody says that if people don't do more than 1, then they'll tend to not do it again? Yeah,
it's a bit like tattoos. Everyone fancies the idea of a tattoo, but the reality is that it becomes a wee bit serious. The idea of the podcast is that everyone fancies doing one podcast, and then they do it, but then they realise actually how much work there is in pre-production, how hard it is to get a good quality podcast, and then how hard it is to get it onto iTunes or SoundCloud or YouTube. And I don't think I have a great technical knowledge, but I certainly have a better technical knowledge approaching episode 29 than I did when I was doing my first one. I'll quite happily sit here and tell you that there was a point where I was just like ready to put my fist through my laptop.
What number? So I know, so I've got a rough idea.
I think it was number 4, because I was trying to get it onto iTunes, and in order to get it onto iTunes you need to get 4, but I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. So I was putting it onto SoundCloud and was trying to get it up there, and it was going into SoundCloud fine, it was going into YouTube, and I was just like, because I'm very impatient, why is this not going up, and then it was only after a period of time that I think a bit of research, and it turns out that it's 4. But at that point, it was just like, refresh, and it wasn't going up. Mm-hmm. So, it's good. The majority of people only do 1, and then at that point, they're just like, not doing this anymore.
Well, I hope there's many more for me then after this.
So, of course, you have a very
talented,
gifted Darren, who's going to,
who's taken 45 years to set up tonight. Just as well you do all your stuff for the weekends free.
Well, do you know what? When I went to go and do my first podcast, and I didn't really have that much of an understanding about sound and vision. And even if I'm trying to do stuff now, because once you get comfortable with anything, then you should try and push it a wee bit further. So I bought new editing software this week, and it just means that I'm wanting to raise a bar each week or each episode and try and get something that's either more attractive to look at, it's more attractive to listen, and whether that be you end up with something which is better, it just means that you're increasing your skill base or your you've got more tools in your box.
Of course, you sharpen your arsenal. Everything is about progression. Everything's about raising the bar, and I think that's where so many people go wrong. They set themselves and they become content. They hit a plateau and they just go along. Everything's about fear, taking the jump, making the next step to progress, and making it, like I say, everything's limitless in progression. But this is where so many people fail. Fear, they get scared, and then that's where they get content and they're kind of stuck in their own wee box. Because when you do things, like I say, this is my first podcast, I just decided, fuck it, I'm going to do a podcast, and I've rolled with it.
If we're sitting close, they would high five you, but my arms aren't that long. But no, it's good to do it. I'm learning Spanish at the moment, and I've been doing intermittent fasting, and when I was doing it last week, I hadn't had any sugar, and my brain was really clean and it was really clear, and I found the Spanish a lot easier to learn. And then today I was feeling a bit, not run down, a bit tired, but I had some peanut butter and jam just before I started doing the Spanish, and my head felt a wee bit, cloggy. So by putting myself under I'm not going to say stress trying to learn Spanish, because I'm sure for some people it's really easy, but I'm not finding it that easy. But because I'm, just having that thing of putting myself under a wee bit of stress, some things come up under pressure, because you're just going, well, why is that? Why was it so easy last week, but it's harder this week? So I'm thinking it's down to sugar. So yeah, I'm finding a benefit from stretching myself.
What made you try to stop the sugar?
I'm trying to lose weight purely because I want to look better. Because I think I look pretty great already.
Could you get any better though?
No, I think there's a quote, and I believe it's by Socrates, and I'm gonna make a mess of it. However, it goes something along the lines of how sad or how bad it would be if a man was to reach his old age and not realise the full potential of his body or of his youth or whatever. And the idea is that, we have this, battle chassis, as my friend from the Marines likes to call it. You have this frame. So, and I suppose in the same way that I approach the housework thing, it's like, would you want to walk about with your best possible self, where that you're not going to be getting tired, you're not going to be getting lethargic, you're going to be able to perform a lot better? Or are you just going to settle for, not being able to get into the higher gears or to go for the longer distances, to use a car analogy? So one of the things that I identified was that I should possibly ease down the amount of sugar, because I don't live that far from a petrol station.
But you see, sugar's the biggest addiction in the world.
But I think that certainly when I was growing up, sweets were a treat or whatever. And of course, as you get older, I worked in hairdressing for years and years, and you'd be getting a full column, 14 clients, you'd be getting smashed, and you've got honestly 6 minutes to have your lunch, and lunch ends up being a Lion bar, a bottle of Iron Brew, and a Marlboro Light.
But then again, I think that comes into the conditioning again, and not just Glasgow, but the UK.
I think it's a worldwide thing, sugar though.
It is, but when I was younger, it was a case of, oh, he's been a good boy, there's a treat, and it's a fucking bit of chocolate, or it's something sugary, and it kind of, you follow that trend, and I still struggle with it, because I tried to stop for a couple of weeks, and my mind was getting the sweats, and I was feeling terrible, and the energy levels just drop. But
you end up getting I'm not going to say patchy, but you don't look as good. If you see someone, they've been hammering the booze all week, and they just look a bit puffy. And if you see somebody that's in a really clean diet, they just look a wee bit more alert. Their skin looks a bit better, their eyes look a bit better, their hair certainly looks better, and that's the reality. But you're right what you're saying about the thing of, oh, there you go, there's a treat. Now, if I said to you, James, do you want some spoiled food, what would you say?
Aye.
Spoiled food, i.e. food that is off, food that is wrong, food that is rotten. Do you want some spoiled food?
No.
You'd be like, no. Whereas Marks and Spencer's, who are possibly one of the biggest and best marketers, advertising purveyors of fine food, they have that M&S thing, richly succulent, indulgent, luxurious. Go and spoil yourself. So it's almost like this thing of, go and spoil yourself, give yourself diabetes. Go and spoil yourself, give yourself heart disease. Go and spoil yourself, give yourself cancer because you've been eating all this bad food. The problem in this country is that we are very, very quick, and I think it's a Western thing. I don't have that much experience of Eastern cultures, but I think it's very much a thing of, if you're feeling a bit run down, having a can of Coke. If you want to treat yourself, get some Ferrero Rocher or whatever. Oh, I'm sure you're spoiling us with these Ferrero Rocher. Yeah, you're giving us all diabetes, mate. Trying to kill us. But is that thing that people, if they're feeling down, they go to get a bit of chocolate. If they're feeling a bit flat, they go out and they get a bit of chocolate. And I think it's
just conditioning. It's conditioning. You get into a supermarket and it's just aisles full of sugar. Every bit of food you've got is full of sugar now. Everything is sugar because they know how much of a bad addiction it is. As soon as you eat it, it's the craving. It's the insulin levels spike up, and then but people are so drained because they'll spike down again, and that's when the tiredness comes in and they think. But same again, you've got coffee and that as well now, and you've got so much.
I want to know what Glaswegians, occupied their time with before coffee shops came out. Mm-hmm. I'm 42. That's a lie. I'm 43. Although I look 21. No, I'm 43, and I can remember 20 years ago before coffee was a really big thing, and coffee is massive.
But it's like anything. What is coffee's another? It's the same, but it's like anything. You get used to it. It's like social media now. People think they can't live without their phones, but phones have been here about 10, 15 years. They just eventually get used to it, and then it'll be something else. They'll bring out something else, and people just. Everybody follows a trend. Everybody think they'll get a coffee in the morning. But again, I don't drink coffee because I think people rely on it. People always get in the defensive and say, "Oh, it's not an addiction. I don't need it. It just gives me energy in the morning." But so does a walk. So does go to the gym for half an hour.
So does a pint of water. Mm-hmm. And we live in a country where the water's pretty awesome. But yeah, coffee addiction, junk food, crisps, all that kind of carry on. It doesn't make you feel that great. But I've went through stages where I've been exercising 5 mornings a week, boxing, and I've been eating really well. It's been lots of fresh fruit, lots of fresh veg, lots of water, and yeah, you feel really good, and it's something that surpasses drugs, it's something that surpasses alcohol, and it's a focus that I can only liken to, if you're really deep into meditation.
But that's the naturals in life, because myself was battled with drink, drugs, gambling, womanising, fuck's sake. Honestly, fuck anything that moved. I was getting it to the stage where my friend's goldfish used to stop swimming whenever he says that. But that's when growing up in Postal, what happens is when you're surrounded with drink, drugs and violence, it becomes a part of you, so you kind of accept it, because the 5 people you surround yourself with is the 5 people you become. So when I hit 18, the drink, the drugs, the gambling, you're searching for that something missing in your life that it's hard to explain, but you think chasing that stuff is what's going to give you that fulfillment. And it took me 12, 14 years of madness to realise that's not what it's all about, to start looking after myself, to start eating clean, to realising all that stuff was fake and bullshit. And like I say, it's when I stay in Saracen, if you go along Saracen Street, you've got bookies, you've got pubs, you've got chip shops, you've got just garbage. So if you're gambling and you go for a drink, or you're eating shit, you are what you eat as well, do you know what I mean? So you've not got that many things to...
It's worthwhile saying for the listeners that are outside of Glasgow, what Postle's like.
Yeah.
So I was brought up in Bishopbriggs for the majority of my life, and we would go through Postle sometimes on the way to see relatives or whatever. And Postle always, Springburn, and no offence to anyone that's lived in Springburn or lives in Springburn, because I used to live in Springburn as well, but whether it's Springburn, Rockazy, Blornock, Blackhill, these places, Sighthill, these places that can sometimes get a bad reputation. Sometimes it's just, sometimes it's unjust, because great people live there as well. But if you grow up in that environment, alcoholism, drug addiction, gambling, these are the things which are around you. Mm-hmm. And I think that when you grow up in a place where there's spray paint in the walls and all that kind of carry on, it's like you're almost brought up. And again, I'm not running anyone down, and I hope no one takes offence from this, but if you're growing up in an environment where nobody else cares, then why would you?
100%.
Because that's what you've been conditioned.
It's not you're running anybody down, but it passes down from generation to generation. So if you're stuck in that area, it just passes down. It can come into your DNA, comes into play, because I wanted to educate myself about the mind, where the gambling addiction came from. And it can, like I say, it can get passed down. It can be in your DNA. But because I did a wee bit of NLP, which is neuro linguistics programming, for anybody that doesn't know that. It's like how the brain kind of functions in neurons. And when you're gambling, if you're feeling like shit in life, as soon as you gamble, it releases dopamine in your brain, and your brain just lights up like a pinball machine.
Ding, ding, ding,
so you're buzzing. You've got that buzz. It's like the dopamine's equivalent to heroin. So you're buzzing. So as soon as that buzz goes, I need that bet again. You need that fix, and you're betting and floating up, man. It really took control, where your pawn and everything. I've still got shit in the pawn for last year because I stopped for 17 months and then I dipped my toe in again and then fucked it again. So it's easy done because there's you'll see a lot of subliminal messages, a lot of messages on the TV, radios, gambling, everything's gambling, and that's what they want to suck you in. And once you get that buzz, that brain just lights up, man. It's the pathway, man, for you just opens up and you're just he takes over.
See, I think gambling's one of the most, in my mind, I think it's the most dangerous addiction going. Because here's the thing: 7 o'clock on a Friday night, if I've been drinking for the last 7 hours and I come in here, I'm going to be like reeking of booze. I'm going to be slurring my words. You're going to go, "Oh, Stevie, are you in the beers?" If I've been out taking cocaine, smoking hash, injecting heroin, whatever it is, I'll see. But I could have, since I've been in here tonight, I could have like pumped $1.5 grand on my phone.
Easy. Can
you tell looking at me? No, you can go into bookies and you can do the same.
It's a mental addiction with gambling because you can hide it. And then that's where the anger, the frustration. Everybody looks that's in a bookies. They look that grey, tired, frustrated.
No one looks like they're having fun.
Nah, because I've sat in bookmakers for like 9 o'clock in the morning to 10 at night, just fucking gambling. And you think to yourself, man, the amount of time you've wasted, but it's all a learning curve.
And did you start in the drugs or did you start in alcohol or the gambling?
I've been gambling since I was about 4, 5, as young as that, because families used to take you to play fruit machines. My dad used to take us to Shawfield at 7, and then at school you're playing a thing called Chippy. So that's gambling, and you don't really realise it. And the extent, obviously, go up for like 12, 13, and fruit machines, and then bookmakers. Because I was full-time Albion Rovers for a bit. All the players used to go to the bookies, so you just fully trained, and you just you kind of accept it, and you think it's fun, but you don't realise the extent to it. Because I know anybody that's a gambler is just a fucking loser, man, just a pure loser. And the reason I know is because I was one. And then because you hit such a low, then you try and get the drink and the drugs to try and pick you back up. So if I'm drinking and taking drugs Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're low during the week and you're smoking weed. You try to balance it out. It's just a vicious circle. You do one bad thing, again, it's like frequencies in it. It's whatever frequency you're on. So if you're on a very low frequency, which is the bad stuff, the drink, the drugs, the gambling, you're attracting these people into your life as well. But now that I'm clean and feeling good, you attract so many good people like your fine self into your life. Do you know what I mean? So you are the better person you want to attract, and the better person you should become. And a lot of that goes with relationships as well. A lot of my relationships were fucked up because I was fucked up. Do you know what I mean? I was in a bad place.
So it was just like you weren't in a good mood, and then that would like start off the relationship. And you've always been. I get this idea that since primary school you've always been good with people. You've always been good talking. Yeah,
but that's been my downfall because the amount of times I had to stand outside class.
Really?
Yeah. But then at schools nowadays, you're conditioned to sit at a desk for your 4 years of age right through at your 60, 65, and there's no individuality, there's no creativity now with kids, man, and that's a scary thing. Just because you like to talk or whatever doesn't mean you're a bad kid. Do you know what I mean? You've got special skills. It doesn't mean just because you're not academically want to sit at a class and don't get it. I fucking hated school. And don't get me wrong, you used to get a good teacher maybe every 5-6 years, and you go, I like him, he's good. The teachers can make the class, but I think they're not very happy either. And there's teaching, you got a lot of teachers that are miserable. I see a lot of them when I pick my kids up and they don't look as happy either.
What age are your kids now?
Both 8. Well, both 7.
And are you now worried looking at them thinking that's the ages that you were like gambling?
Of course, man, but they've got good mothers, so I'm hoping that you can only do so much with your kids. You can be raised the best lifestyle in the world, but you can still go off path. It's just to try to teach them from my mistakes and try to guide them into making better decisions instead of the fuck ups that I did through my teens and into my 20s, hitting 30s.
That's the strange thing about addiction, though. It's like heroin doesn't care what your postcode is.
1,000,000%.
Like it just doesn't. Gambling doesn't care what street you live in. And alcohol really doesn't care, what school you went to.
Yeah, because I know there's billionaires out there who want to commit suicide. It took me a long time to realise this. All the materialistic shit, even the social media bullshit. There's so many people trying to look up to other people and be other people instead of being themselves, being that individual. And the creativity, because is it Einstein that says everybody's a genius? Which they are, man, and we kind of forget that. We kind of are disconnected, people on their phones, including myself. I spend so much time on my phone, try to create the likes, try to get that attention. That's just a wee bit of ego stroking as well, I think, comes into play. But I just think so many people are disconnected and we're caught up in the bullshit that we kind of forget what's really important in life.
See, your drug abuse, what age did that start at?
About 18. I dabbled with a bit of coke at 16, 17, then 18 was when I was partying at the weekends.
And how easy was it to get a hold of?
Oh, it's easy, man. It's easy, aye. Everybody's partying. You'll see a lot of your lawyers. It's rife now. It still is. If not, it's probably worse. But you're getting drugs. Then it came into the Valium and then the weed during the week to try and balance it out, and then away I go at the weekend.
But strange within certain parts of society or cultural groups, what drugs are more popular? Like, you get groups of people and it's like, they're all about, taking cocaine and, ecstasy or whatever. But then you get people that are like into taking heroin, and it's just like, I've never, like, here's the thing. You walk out for like half a dozen Jack and Cokes, great. After 2, you're going to be getting there. 4, you're going to be having a good time. 6, you're going to be in the dance floor. Cocaine or whatever, then I'd imagine after a period of time you're going to be like, yeah, I want to take my clothes off and run down the top of a lamppost if that's your thing. The idea of taking heroin, I just don't get. You must have to be in an incredibly deeply unsettled and an unhappy place to take that.
I think there's there's a chemical imbalance in your mindset, but again, it could be the circle you keep. You could be in a circle where people do accept it and you kind of go, do you know what, they're doing it. So it's just a wee bit about who you're surrounding yourself with, because you can be that low. Because I was that low, I never ever went as deep as that, but don't get me wrong, if you're in that circle, man, there's always that temptation, because people to do it, every addiction's the same in my eyes. Addiction problems is just a mental a problem, but I just think to go that low, it's just to accept that is because it just destroys your life. But then again, I know people who's been on it for 10, 20 years and changed their life from it as well. Do you know what I mean? You can't judge people just because of different kinds of drugs. So I've battled with the drugs, so I don't know, but I just think heroin's a different breed. But then you've got crack as well.
But I mean crack and heroin, and obviously there's kids now that it's prescription drugs and like spice and stuff I've never heard of, and I'm just like, well, what's that for? And all this stuff, I mean, it's a weed fertilizer, but you mix it with this chemical and then you dry it out, and I'm like, what? Like,
what's it called? Spice, I think. And I think that's from like 4 or 5 years ago, spice, which is kind of weird. But I suppose that's just the way that things move along. How bad did the gambling get? You said that you had stuff that was in Hawk. Oh, the porn?
Brokers, yeah.
Oh, the gambling was bad. The gambling was... that's where my comedy kind of came into play, because I was always fucking money. I never had money, but I always played as if I did have money. The gambling was, you're always tapping money, because if I was coming up to your house and I just lost all my money, I would make you feel good, I'd make you laugh, because I had that gift to make people laugh. So before I was leaving, I'd say, listen, got any chance to gain 50 quid? And because I'd made you feel so good, you couldn't say no, even though you know you weren't getting it back. If people gave me money, they will never seen that again. They weren't getting it, but I used to say, I'll get it back, all the promises under the sun. But yeah, pawning everything, for watches, iPads, kids stuff, it's bad. It's a real bad addiction.
What's the thing that you found hardest you wrestled with pawn? Was it something of your own, or
the kids stuff, like iPads and stuff? You just want to get that bet on, man. You become
what did you tell them?
It's broke. You become a liar. You're a compulsive liar. When you're a gambler, and if anybody knows who's got family members that are a gambler herself, you're such a good liar. You believe you're in shit. You think you're fine, because I used to when I got my meetings in the 20s, I used to try and get help, but then I sit in the meetings and I go, I don't need this.
I'm fine.
I can do it myself. But then we're just all the same. We're all trying to help each other, and the first step is admitting it. You've not got that's got control. You've just got the power over you, man. Is to admit it. It's so scary.
And was there a catalyst for you going and getting that help in the first point?
When I turned 30, was the main point. I was like, my life's going nowhere, man. I was overweight. I was no money, nothing.
What are you now? Sorry,
34. Just turned 34. Yeah. And I decided, right, enough's enough. And I did. I changed, man. I wrote everything down. Things I needed to change that I didn't like about myself. I came across a book called The Power of Now. It was in my room for a couple of years. I got it for an ex-girlfriend. And I just read that. And I listened to the audio as well, because I couldn't really understand that a wee bit, and then it kind of opened my eyes to things to realise that I was living in the past too much, and I wrote all the things down that needed to change: the drink, the drugs, the gambling, even the womanising. And then once I changed...
Was it womanising just to change your mood?
Yeah, it's just to fulfill a void again, innit? Just fucking everything. Just try to... fill a void, and you're just... Yeah, just try to...
Was that to
it's
boost
just
your
empty
self-confidence?
sex. Probably, because I was that insecure, that low. You're doing that stuff to... It's like an ego boost, an ego, but I'm fine. Because when you're doing all that bad shit, you portray yourself as okay, but looking back, man, I was just a scared wee boy. I was just scared. Do you know what I mean? And you're looking back, it's... Like everybody plays the big man act. I was always the loudest man in the room, but that's just a mask to cover the fact that I was really hurting. I had so many problems. You feel as if you let your family not doing, because there's so much potential to football when I was younger, and you get sidetracked, so you feel as if you let people down as well. But when I turned 30, I decided, right, enough's enough. I wrote it down. Stop with drink, drugs, gambling. Calm down with the women. That's something I'm still trying working with.
Is that right?
Nah, it's not as bad. But when the 30, I wrote it all down. And I done it, man. I done it 17 months. I never touched a drink, never touched a drug, never placed a bet. Started doing a wee bit of motivational speaking. And then after the 17 months, my auntie passed away. And then I went to my auntie's funeral. Have a drink. And I was thinking to myself, I'm strong enough. Had a drink and I fucking right off the rails, man, again.
Off and the rails and
back
everything?
in the drink, back in the partying, gambling, everything. Just ripped the whole ceiling down, because you do one thing, what happens is your frequency levels go down, you attract all the badness. So you do one bad thing and you just opens the door for the rest of them to flood in, and that's what they did. And I ended up off the rails for about a good 6 months to a year.
And how did you get back out of that cycle?
Because I realised how good I felt before it. I realised that speed bump was what I needed, because I knew I'm no strong. I can't have one or two. I don't know what it is. I just, for such a young age, man, and the people will tell you who I partied with, man, I don't go home. I don't know what that is. Do you know what I mean? I've got kids and I need to take responsibility, and you can't be a fucking clown all your days, and that goes for anybody that's listening or partying. It's a mug's game, man. If you're taking drink or drugs every weekend, what happens? Just because you're doing it at the weekend doesn't mean it's okay, doesn't mean you're not a junkie or you get addiction problems, because all you're doing is trying to numb some sort of pain. That's what I did, was try to numb some sort of pain. So it was the coke at the weekends, and then it was the Valium, the weed during the week, and you're a mess. Do you know what I mean? Because you're not really in a conscious frame of mind. You can't really make decisions. You get agitated, you get angry. So the speed bump after the 17 months made me realise, right, I'm not going back to that place, man. It took me, I put so many people through a lot of hurt and pain to work hard to get to where I am. I'm not just going to go and fuck it away, because I'd imagine, but like I say, it took me nearly a year to get back on track again, and that's me 10 months again. And the results speak for themselves, and I'm on this path. Big things happen, but people kind of wait for me to fuck up, because they know the old James. Do you know what I mean? So they kind of waiting, rubbing their hands, waiting. He's going to fuck up again. But I don't know what's round the corner, man. I can only keep setting goals, because right now my buzz right now is setting goals and achieving them. That's where I get my buzz. That's where my endorphins come from, and feeling good and enjoying life. So I'm on the path, and let's get ready to rock.
So we've talked about the drug addiction, the gambling, the womanising, alcohol. That was obviously to mask a pain. Did you get to find out what that pain was?
I don't think so, no, not really yet. But I think there's a thing called your inner child that you can work on, where you can talk about all your traumas in life, your traumas. Probably something I need to obviously do. But when you get to the stage where I'm, it's like you try to block all that out, all the bad shit you did, because when you try to become a better person and better yourself, you get a conscience and you start to think about all the shit you've done and went through. So you kind of, but then again, with the power of now book comes into play, is all about the present moment. About don't think about past or future, because if you think about past, it'll give you all the worst traits like negative, fear, guilt, depression, anger. But it's definitely something that I probably need to work on and go back to the root of the problem, because I've never really put my finger on it. But obviously there's that much, but definitely that's something I would like to work in time. Obviously the thing called the inner child, where you talk about all your traumatic stress through your years, childhood and to the age I am now, but never really there's that, because there's that many.
It's just that kind of thing of like there'll be a catalyst or there'll be a trigger for it. And it's like, unless you deal with that, there's the chance that thing will, it's almost still there. I don't mean to be funny about it, but it's like, if there's, if you've got a stone in your shoe, and it's like you keep walking on it, you're going to get a blister or whatever, and you can take it off and you can, maybe get on a new pair of shoes for a while, but if you need to put those shoes back on, then you're going to have that thing. I think it's perhaps one of the most painful things, which is to find out what it is that has caused that behaviour. Because I think there's a certain part which is natural curiosity, like, I want to try some drugs, I want to try some alcohol, I want to try a bit of gambling, or I want to try a bit of womanising. I don't think there's a teenage guy that would tell you any different. But I think obviously when there's something in the background, and then it's just like it's got to get blotted out with alcohol or drugs. Because as you said earlier about tearing the roof down, it's like if you've got whatever the behaviour is, and then like if you're like 6 drinks in all the time, then the idea of just a bit of this or a bit of that, whatever that may well be, that becomes more acceptable because you're always in that sort of state.
There's definitely rooted problems there, and sometimes you're scared to dig them up again. Do you know what I mean? In case, because it's a hard thing, because we've got so much pride to admit where we went wrong or what we think the problems are. Obviously, I've got an extent where I've changed my life, I'm doing good, but there's always that thought as well that what if I fuck up? What if I start drinking again? What if I go down that road? Do you know what I mean? I'm not getting any younger, and it's scary to think, what if I never get out? Because I want a good life, and I'm a firm believer in the law of attraction, like what you think you attract. But there's some people get that mixed up with, I'm going to think this, and going to think £1 million. It doesn't fucking happen that way. You've got to dream up that life that you want and work your ass off to get it. And the state of mind I'm in now, I can achieve anything, and it's not that I'm being cocky. I'm just a confident fucker, man. I make goals, man. The last year I've made the goals, and I've took everyone out, and I've went beyond my expectations. And again, man, I believe, man, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. So if I stay in this frame of mind, I can achieve anything. Nobody can tell me that I can't do anything. And that's where so many people go wrong, because anybody can have the life they want. I speak to a lot of people, and they're quite miserable, man. They're quite depressed, and they don't need to be. They don't need to be in that fucked up relationship. They don't need to be doing the same shit week in, week out. Anybody can change their life and better their life, but I think a lot of people live in fear. A lot of people live in, what if I'm not good enough? But 99% of success is failure. Fail until you obviously succeed. And we can achieve anything. And so many people forget that everything that's been created in this universe has started off with a thought. These microphones, t-shirts, aeroplanes, somebody's going to say, I'm going to do that. Everybody would have laughed if somebody says, I'm going to make something that's going to fly. But they did it. Would just be willpower and sheer belief system. And my belief system right now, man, is as strong as anything. And then I put my mind to it, I'm just fucking smashing it out the park. But like I say, it's still something there that, what if I go back? And I don't like to be negative or think, but I still get those wee thoughts, because I'm easy led. One thing, man, and everything I've worked for the last year, I just can come tumbling down in a heartbeat.
So when was the last time you had either drugs, alcohol, gambling, or womanising?
My sister's party. That was the last time I had a drink. That was in May, June, for that start of June, so 9 months.
And that was just a couple of drinks?
No, that was 3 days.
Or was it?
Aye.
So I've got this rule, and I've always had this rule since, I think I've only broken it 3 times. Yeah, 3 times. My rule is you need to be home before the light hits you, i.e. you need to get home before you need to, a bit like a vampire, you need to be in before the light comes up. So if you're out partying for 3 days, what's the vibe? Sorry, I just find this really interesting. So what night was the party, a Friday or Saturday?
I think it was a Friday, and I went home Monday morning.
So obviously the party was what, your sister's house at a club?
No, she had a big party, and then I'm back to my friend's house.
Okay, so you go back to your friend's house at, like, say, 12 o'clock at night?
Yeah.
And then do you go home to change your clothes? Or?
No. I just never had any on by the end of the fucking weekend.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You sit at parties, and we all sit at parties, and you'll see these girls, and you think, oh, she's fine, she's nice, I'll take her out. But these girls have been sitting at parties for 2 and 3 days with the same fucking knickers on. Do you know what I mean? And we think, oh, they're stunning. It's just...
So what do you do during the day? Do you just go for lunch, or do you like...
No, fuck, it's just party mode, music on, same music you were listening to 10 years ago. Nothing changes, just party mode, drink, drugs, and just madness.
And the same people for the 3 days?
Same people die off, but like me, I'm out for the duration.
How much sleep are you getting?
None.
Or are you not?
None,
really?
None.
So tell me this, what point do you decide that you need to go home?
When you feel as if your heart's going to explode.
So we're talking about hard alcohol and hard drugs then?
Aye.
And then at that point you're like, okay, I can't handle this anymore.
Can't take it anymore, and then the depression sinks in.
And how long's that last for? A full week?
A couple of weeks. As you get older, it hits you harder, and that's where the drugs will come
You
through.
keep talking about this?
Aye, of course. Aye, fucking right. Anything goes, man. That's life, man.
So it's 2 weeks of serious depression, and is it regret, or is it just like I feel terrible, I've got the fear?
Everything. Regret, guilt. I've got family. Just everything. And then it's during the week you'll try and level it out. Maybe weed, Valium. It's a vicious circle.
And how easy is it to get a hold of Valium?
Prescribe, you can get. It's easy.
So somebody knows somebody that's got a granny.
Yeah, everything's easy. Aye, anything. If you want anything in life, you can get, especially the bad stuff.
So 2 weeks.
You're depressed for a good couple of weeks, and that's where the majority of people go and do it again at the weekend because
they want to lift that spell.
Yeah, they want to lift up that fear and depression and the guilt that they're doing fuck all with their life. And anybody at parties will tell you that your life is going nowhere. And we think it's the bee's knees. A lot of films promote it as if it's cool. It ain't fucking cool destroying your life and jumping about like an arsehole.
What kind of people do you see in these? Is there a criminal element to these 3-day parties?
No, not really. All the drugs.
But I'm going to just come out with it. If you were at one of these parties and you said, can someone get me a gun?
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but drugs, yeah.
So drugs, if someone just left their phone, it's just like, will there be drugs here in an hour and a half?
Speed dial.
So, and anything goes, like drug-wise?
Anything goes, man. It's people fucking, yeah. Once you're in that frame of mind, you do anything. And it's scary. And this is the society we're in, man. And it's rife in the schemes. It's rife with people partying and thinking it's cool and bottles of Bucky, Mad Dog, and then it's the drugs. And all this young team think it's cool. All the people who I grew up with, who were older than me, obviously I never grew up with them, but you see these people driving about in their nice cars and you think that's a life, but who are in a life of crime, but it's not a life, man, because half these people are dead or in the jail now. Do you know what I mean? It's people kind of need to waken up and realise that if you do bad in life, karma's always going to win. So if you're doing bad things, you're never going to be happy, no matter how big your car is or how big your watch is. You're chasing an illusion. Same as the girls nowadays. You'll see a lot of girls with Botox, fake tits, big lips. They're watching all these fucking cheap programs where they think that's what it's like and that's the way it should be. But girls forget now, man. I know it sounds cheesy, but inner beauty, man, it's all about your inner peace and what you believe in and being in love with yourself, which is a very difficult thing to do, man. And I think a lot of girls are getting sidetracked because when they do all this shit, it's like anything, all these boys as well, when they do all they get in the car or the house or whatever, the novelty wears off after 2 weeks because the real wealth is up in your head. And it took me a long while to realise that, and I'm still trying to educate myself, and I'll be educating myself to the day I die. But a lot of girls and guys, we're kind of caught up in the material world, man, where we think this stuff's more important. And that's where, if you're doing all the fake stuff, and don't get me wrong, I believe all the plastic surgery is good if you've got a disease or been in an accident, but you see all these wee fucking girls at 16, 17, big fucking lips, do you know what I mean? And they're doing that stuff that's only going to set them up for failure because they're only doing all that, and then the novelty wears off, and then it's other stuff. They're trying to keep up with people like fucking Kardashians, and these people are probably the unhappiest people in the world, man. They're so fake and plastic. It's that, and people are looking up to these people, and you see all these girls with the fake stuff. They think it's good, but it's not, because they're not happy with who they are. So they're always going to be searching for that something. They're craving that something through appearance that they're never going to be happy with. They're never going to search that end product because it's in the mindset, it's in the belief system that I am good enough. And I see a lot of young kids, and that worries me about my daughter, that she goes down that route. So that's why I'm trying to educate and try and show that love is within. And do you know what I mean? And it's like I say, this is just through reading the last few months and a couple of years to try and educate myself.
So see, after you had that last 3-day party, you were like, right, I need to turn stuff around.
Definitely.
Is that just because you were fed up feeling like shite for 2 weeks, or was it just like, was there a rock bottom?
Not because I was a rock bottom, because I was thinking about it for the last few weeks. It was that it wasn't parties all the time, but it was like drinking. I was never an alcoholic, but drinking, go and watch your football, get a drink, birthday party, funeral. There's always something to have a drink in. It's never ending. I just felt enough's enough. I did so well for the 17-month. I did massive things again the 17-month when I was clean and in a conscious state, and I was in control of my life. So I started putting on the weight again. I started getting angry. Started missing days to get my kids. So and then you feel like a failure. You feel like an absolute failure, and then there comes a time, right, I'm not going back down that path. So that speed bump there just made me realise I can't do these things in moderation. As much as I've tried, I can't fucking do it, man. There's just something. I've tried so hard that I can go one or two, but there's just something that takes over me that I'll go missing. I'll become a missing person.
What's your family? What? They must be incredibly supportive.
Of course, man. Family's always going to be there for you. I was never that bad, but it's just it's kind of sociably accepted, and that's the scary thing. We've accepted to go out and they call it go out in a sesh or 2 days, 3 days. It's the cringiest thing ever, man. It's took me obviously 34 years to realise this, and I hope for anybody obviously listening that it's not the way forward, man. It ain't cool to be sitting at parties talking about the same shite, and everybody's in the kitchen trying to fucking solve the world, to try to save the world with talking absolute garbage, and yet you're full of fucking drinking drugs. Do you know what I mean? It's an act. I think everybody's trying to hide for their pain and numb some sort of helplessness that they've got, and when you're doing that stuff, you surround yourself with the exact same people doing it as well, because it makes you feel better. You think everybody's doing it, but when you actually come away from that small box, man, and realise, wait a minute, everybody doesn't do this. So it becomes a lonely journey as well. Try to change your life, because nobody's really wanted to do it with you, and you kind of want that support, but in life, man, you need to just do everything yourself.
So how much of your social circle have you changed since May?
Everything. And people think you fell out with them, or you think you don't want to speak to them, but it's not the case. Then people say, oh, you've changed. I'm like, oh, fucking good. I wanted to change.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I wasn't happy.
That's the general direction.
Yeah, that's the plan. So what happens is, when you start setting goals, when you start achieving things, the green eye monsters come out in people, because what it makes them realise is that they're not fulfilling their full potential in life. They're not doing what they exactly want to be doing, because a lot of people's, if you're on drink or drugs or whatever, you're so low, you've not got confidence to be doing shit. So, but you're got the balls to do anything. That, like I say, I'm not giving a fuck if I fail with whatever. I know I'm just going to keep succeeding, and it's just about keep going on and just keep progressing, man. Keep raising the bar, keep bettering myself, keep on the straight and narrow. Be honest with myself, because if I can't be honest with myself, then who the fuck can I be honest with? And that's why I speak about drinking, drugs, and gambling. And because
you're not ashamed of it,
no,
though.
Fucking right, I'm not, because it's made us who I am today, so I've got to thank it. I've got to say, you know what, thanks, because now I'm doing massive things. I'm obviously, I'm doing all my stuff for the homelessness. I'm doing, obviously, the podcast. I'm doing big things, man, and I'm feeling good. So people need to understand this. Everybody's got problems. Everybody in this world's got problems. No matter how much you've got, or how tall you are, how ripped you are, whatever. Everybody's got problems, but it's how you deal with those problems, because everything's a mindset. And I'm a firm believer in that, and that's why I just need to keep trying to educate myself and bettering myself.
Last question about addiction. Did you go and get help, like Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous?
No, GA. I went to GA, gambling. The gambling was the main one for me, because I was never... the drugs, I was never 24/7. It was a weekend thing, and then obviously I smoked a few joints through the week to try and
level out,
balance it a wee bit. But the gambling was an everyday thing. The gambling was the main one. The gambling, I went to GA a few times. I still speak to a good guy called Mark, who I'm in touch with, just to kind of make sure it doesn't slip out of control.
Is he like your sponsor?
Yeah, good guy. So it's good to just phone up people, because people who don't gamble don't understand that. Why do you waste money? Why do you do this? It's just an addiction, man. That dopamine, like I say, it's equivalent to heroin, man. You're fucking buzzing.
But I think everyone's got a form of addiction. It might be, like folk will go, oh, have you watched that Walking Dead, man? I was in the house, I watched 18 episodes in one go, and you're like, dude, that is an addiction. People talk about a cheat or a reward day, if they're going to the gym, which I think is healthier than having, I think it's better to have 7 in fact, if you're listening to this, you shouldn't be having 7 Mars bars in one go. However, it's possibly healthier to having 7 Mars bars in one day as opposed to feeding that addiction every day. I'm sure somebody would argue for, and I'll quite happily argue against if that's what it takes. However, everyone has an addiction. People have an addiction to coffee. People have an addiction to, sex, alcohol, whatever. It's just, sadly, some people are addicted to, I know people are addicted to housework.
Yeah, OCD.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like if you go round to their house, they're like that, oh, sorry, I didn't manage to wash the floor.
Do you think OCD is an addiction?
I don't think I can speak about it because it's not necessarily my thing. I don't think OCD is an addiction. I think it's just a symptom of it. I think somebody's got a pain or they've got something they need to deal with.
Just keeping busy, try to forget.
Yeah, like it's just it's just something to do, and it's either a routine which they like. Like I've got a routine on a Friday, and I like it, and I know that if I finish that routine, a bit like a to-do list, I know if I go through my routine on a Friday or a Thursday, then I know at that point that it's done. I also have a daily routine, and I know if I go through that daily routine, then I feel good. And I've got a nighttime routine as well, and if I do that, then that sets me up for the morning thing. And for me, that's a control thing. Mm-hmm. That makes me feel better.
Would you say you're a control freak? Nice.
Nah, I think I'm pretty easy going, actually. I'm probably I think like anyone else, I'm in control of certain things, and some things, when they're out of my control, like they affect me more than perhaps they should, i.e. technology.
I think a lot of people like do things now, but I think doctors and shit they're too fast now to give names for something. They're too fast to say, oh, you've got this and you've got that, but nothing's changed. They just give like OCD, they just gave it a name, so all of a sudden you've got problems. And what's the other one now with the mental health with kids? AD, it was
attention deficit disorder, ADD.
Yeah.
And then you get attention hyperactive disorder, I think. The thing is, kids are growing up now and they're drinking cans of like Monster.
I know.
And let me tell you right now, unless you weigh 220 pounds and you're like a rugby player or you do like some form of serious exercise, you've no business drinking a can of Monster or Red Bull or whatever it is. There's stuff that's in those drinks that are just like mental. Yeah. And I think that in years and years to come, then people will be going, what were people doing? I mean, we joke about, carbonated soft drinks, whatever, but stuff like Monster and Rockstar, that is another
pure poison.
It's just another level. And for people that have problems with sugar or have problems with their diet, the idea of doing that, I mean, here's the thing, if you two were to come round to my house for a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and I said, oh, what do you take in it? And you would say, oh, I take milk and 16 sugars. What kind of reaction do you think you're going to get out of me?
Get out of my house.
I'm immediately going to be like, are you alright? Mm-hmm. Probably the first thing, if you're incredibly big, is I'm thinking, maybe you're obese or you're diabetic. If you're incredibly skinny and gaunt, I'm going to be thinking, well, are you coming off of heroin?
But
the thing is, you can go into the shop down the road and you can just go and lift a can of Coke. It's like kids should not be drinking that stuff. We're talking about spoil yourself. I think a can of Coke is a treat. I really do. I think if you're going to have chili con carne and you decide to put a can of Coke in it, because it's going to give it that beautiful caramel flavour, and if you leave it for a day, it's awesome. But I don't think that Coke is something that you should just have in your fridge all the time.
But again, Coke, they say, is it cocaine moves in that to make it addictive? And you see videos on YouTube with Coke rubbing off rust. You can feel the gas, you can feel the poison, but like I say, each to their own. But that's only for me, because I drank a lot of fizzy juice as well when I was younger, and I was at a dentist nearly all the time. Do you know what I mean? It's just eating shite. You see, £10 mix-ups, we'll talk about that earlier, Freddo's £30. Yeah. So when you used to go to the van used to come round, your £50, man, you had a full day's supply, man, with gums and sherbet and just pure shite food.
The weird thing is, though, it's if you go down to the shops and say you get a cheesecake, you get a couple of cheeseburgers, you get a rolling slice of black pudding or whatever, a couple of Empire biscuits. I mean, you know that stuff's sensational for your taste buds.
Empire biscuits, my big pal Barry would love you.
Yeah, I mean they're dynamite, but the reality is that if you have them, then that much sugar is not. I personally think it's not good for you. Whereas if you're having some, I'm not going to say steamed broccoli and like broiled chicken or whatever, that is obviously good for you. Everything in moderation, but I think sadly that a relationship with food is really incredibly heavily influenced by market and advertising.
Of course, but so is everything. All the adverts you'll see, it's all Coca-Cola, McDonald's, KFC, absolute garbage food. and we accept it because these places are the busiest, and because it's advertisement, subliminal messages in your mindset. If you're constantly looking at that, it'll trigger things in your brain, and that's where a lot of the gambling as well, because there's a lot of messages, gambling websites, on the radio. It's hard to distance yourself from these things unless you go and fucking stay in the woods or move away, which I've thought about a couple of times just to get away from it all and live in the mountains, man.
You thought about doing a retreat?
I think, yeah, definitely. Me and my friend Barry, who's a personal trainer up in Kirky, going to do a 4-day retreat somewhere with like yoga, because I did a lot of Bikram yoga there. Just try to quieten the mind a bit, try to relax, stretch, just do things.
Have you tried Headspace?
No.
So it's an app that you get in the phone. The first 10 days are free.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that it's like 10 minutes, so you put it on, and whether it's the afternoon, the morning, the night time, whenever, and then there's just this guy, and he's got this beautiful voice, and he's like, "Hi there, welcome to Headspace. This might be your first time doing meditation, but don't worry, it's not complicated, it's not hard. I'm going to guide you through it. So what I want you to do now is find somewhere peaceful and quiet, sit down, relax. We're going to start with some breathing." So he takes you through a guided meditation, and if you do the first 10 days, you will feel a lot better. And the idea, I think the meditation is like a tuning fork, like for a piano or whatever. So it's like the meditation day starts you off, and you just get that resistance, you get that frequency. So it means that when something really bad happens, you don't react to it. But it means that when something bad does happen, then you're easier to deal with it. So not only are you having a better experience all the way through the day, but it just means that if you get adversity or a road bump, then it just makes it easier to deal with, and you're a wee bit calmer, as opposed to, you're talking about being reactive and like arguing with people and being angry. I've found the meditation works really well.
Do you think it's helped? Did you just have road rage?
I generally have road rage because I'm a really good driver.
Blame everybody else.
No. So for my previous job, then I had to study it. I had to get some extra qualifications. So I'm actually a really good driver.
Okay, what'd you do?
I worked in a bodyguards and close protection work for a period of time. So doing a lot of transport, so you need to become very good at driving, and you need to become very good at reading the signals. But the majority of people will either be in the phone, either be Bluetoothing, or they'll be choosing a tune, or they'll be, auxiliary and moving off and, not checking the mirror. So I always do get a bit of road rage, but now I turn it into a bit of comedy. I'll generally I'll shout an insult at the person, and then I'll shout a comeback, and then I'll just then shut them down. So no, I find it a bit of comedy now.
How long did you do that for?
On and off, about 1.5 2 years.
Do you think it made you can it make you paranoid doing that kind of stuff?
I've certainly worked with a lot of people, and they're what we call hyper-vigilant, because they're just like, looking for the next thing. And when you get into that frequency, if that is your frequency 8 hours a day, then you just become, hyper-vigilant. It's a good, I'm not saying hyper-vigilance is a good thing to have, but being really aware of your surroundings and what's going on, whether you're driving a car, whether you're on holiday or walking down the street. Personally, I think growing up in Glasgow, you get it. I think you become really good at reading stuff that non-verbal communication, I think, is incredibly high, growing up in Glasgow. So no, it was it was good fun, and I had to do all the extra driving courses and stuff, and it was enjoyable for a period of time. But
you see a lot of people with road rage in Glasgow, but I just think that's because they're pissed off in life. Basically, like, if you're cutting somebody off, you're only 2 seconds out of your time. It's not really a big deal. It's just that people get really fucking angry. I'm not too bad with road rage, but there is people, you see the girls giving it fucking...
Well, I cut someone off at the garage, because basically you can turn right and go out, and there's a bit that says keep clear, and the guy hadn't quite stopped, so I just pushed my nose out, and I knew that he wasn't going to hit me, but he started pointing and peeped his horn, and he goes, "What are you doing, you fucking dick?" And it wasn't like he was saying, "Oh, you fucking dick." It was like it was like venom and hate, and it was venom and hate, and it wasn't about me squeezing out. It was about the fact that he was already in an incredibly bad mood. He was at 9,500 revs, and pretty much I was just a catalyst. So he went like that, "What are you doing, you fucking dick?" So I pulled over the car on the other side of the road, and the lights, so there's the lights for red for him, and then there's another one coming down, and I just quickly ran over and I was like, "Mate, are you alright?" And he goes, "What?" And I was like, "Are you alright?" And he goes, "Oh, what?" I was like, mate, do you want to go and pull your van over to the side of the road? So I think at that point he thought he was going to get a square go, so he pulled over and he comes walking over like chest out, swinging arms, and he was about as far away as you are just now, and was like, mate, listen, I'm not wanting to get into this. The reason why I asked you, are you all right? Because you seem really upset. Is something bothering you right now?
What was his reaction?
He looked at me and he paused and he was like that. Aye, there is. And I was like, well, what is it? And he's like, I'm supposed to finish. I was supposed to finish an hour and a half ago, and my boss has just told me I need to go up to Balmore Industrial Estate, and I've got to swap vans, and then I've got to fill it with fuel because he wants that one, and I'm pure raging. And I was just like that. Right, okay. It's like, so you're going to finish an hour and a half late? Aye. Right, well, don't worry about it, mate. Like, you finish an hour and a half late, and I'm sure when you go home, your tea will be on the table. Like, listen, it's cool. Don't worry about it. Like, just do what you need to do. And then he was like, right, thanks. And then he walked over and he got back in the van, and it was only when he was about to like shut the door, so he'd already sat in, and he just put his hand in the door to like pull it over, and then he just looked over his shoulder and was like, cheers, mate. So that's just taking somebody that's in a really bad mood and just taking a bit of air out of him, and not for the sake of a joke, not for the sake of a story. The reason why I did it is because I was like kind of worried, thinking if he meets another guy, like say a guy that's driving along and he was supposed to like make 10,000 in calls that week or that day, and he's not made it, he's going to be in a raging mood because he's missed his monthly bonus. So if the two of them meet, the chances are that maybe I'll go toe to toe, and then someone's going to be up in a charge, and the PF's going to get involved, and someone's going to lose a license or whatever, and then of course that snowballs on. So I just wanted to take a bit of steam out of him so that he didn't, and it's just like.
But that's a bit of NLP can come into play there, where it's model image. If somebody speaks at high tempo, you can speak at their level and then gradually bring your tone down, well, they'll follow. And I think some people just, yourself, when you get angry, you're just giving away your energy straight away, and that's where people go wrong. I know during the day, in the morning when they wake up, if you show gratitude, if you're happy about life and show gratitude for 10 things or 5 things you're happy for and grateful for, your day automatically feels good. So if people wake up and it's fucking raining outside, I need to go to work, I hate life, and they're going to have a shit day, and then if they're carrying that on right through the day, the anger and the hatred, if you're, what it's like, if you're in a rush and you're trying to get through and you're agitated, your frequency's so low, you get caught at every set of lights. Everybody's trying to cut in front of you, everybody's trying to do this. Again, it's
everyone's a prick.
Yeah, your mindset and the anger of people's, you see it, man, on the roads, it's grim.
It's sad though, but I mean, something as simple as gratitude is, so important. Like, even if you wake up in the morning, you go, okay, well, here are 5 things that I'm grateful for. And then if you can go to bed at night and go, here are 5 things that I'm grateful for, then you're changing your mindset, you're changing environment, and it is exactly the same physical environment you're in. But you're just going, okay, well, I'm really happy that I'm going to bed tonight. I'm really happy that the sheets are all lovely and clean. I'm glad that I'm waking up in the morning. I'm going to get a beautiful breakfast. I'm glad that I'm going to go out the door and my car's going to be there. I'm glad that I've got lovely neighbours. These are the things which sadly people are just going, oh, why don't I live in a bigger house? Why have I not got, why have I only got an A4? Why have I not got the A4? The RS4? Why am I not going 2 weeks holiday a year instead of going 1 week? And the thing is, no matter how bad you have it, there is always going to be somebody that has it a lot worse. 1,000,000%. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, because a lot of majority of people concentrate on the things they haven't got instead of the things they have got. It doesn't matter how big your house is, and listen, it's this day and age we need money to survive, but people forget money's been here for a few thousand years. It is an illusion, it is only paper, but we crave it that much that it takes us away from what's really important in life, our health. If we've got kids, I think nowadays people in their 20s, they need to get married, they need a house, that's it, I'm settled. But that's not what it's about, man. And who says you need to get married? It is only a fucking piece of paper, and we're so caught up in that we think that's what we need to do to be happy. But I know so many people in unhappy relationships because I think they've jumped in too early. I believe you've got to love yourself first to attract that person. A lot of people unhappy, they think the final piece of the puzzle is getting in a relationship, and as soon as I get married, that's me, I'm going to be happy. But
you still need to work on yourself. You still need to be happy within, because I'm trying to get myself in a position where I'm so happy that obviously I have my fucking moments and like, I'm not, it's natural, but
of course,
if I get happy and content with myself, then everything else that comes into my life becomes a bonus. Do you know what I mean? Because I was always chasing, I need a relationship, I need that, but it was always doomed for failure because I wasn't in a good place. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong when they're jumping into relationships to try and put that puzzle together, but a year down the line, 6 months, whatever, they're fucking miserable because they're jumping in relationships for the wrong reasons, because they see their friends getting married or this or that. But I think a lot of people need to work on them first, and then, like I say, but I don't know if who says you need to get married, who says you need that piece of paper, who says, do you know what I mean? I see a lot of people getting married and getting that house, 25-year debt, and then what happens is people create that fear where they can't start a new project because if they leave that job, what if I lose my house? And the fear's already created in that big circle, and that's where I'm kind of trying to do something different.
I'm going to tell you a universal truth, but I'm going to ask you a universal question first.
Let's go for it.
Okay. How many times have you looked at a Range Rover driving down the road? I.e., how many times have you noticed a Range Rover with a person driving it?
No many. I always notice the car, but then you will take a wee glance and see who's driving it, aye.
Okay, when have you ever seen anyone smiling while driving a Range Rover?
Again, no many.
It's true though. I've yet to, and I've now made it a game, and your listeners should do as well. The next time you see a Range Rover, look at the person driving it, and you notice that they're never smiling.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is?
I could do a comedy answer, but I'll do a real one. I don't know. I just, here's the thing, like when I was younger, I had this like massive dream of what I wanted because I thought that thing would make me happy. But the reality is that, that was just an idea of, marketing and advertising what I thought it would be, and I'm so glad I didn't get that because I'd be in so much trouble. However, you never see anyone smiling driving a Range Rover, and I think it's just like... But
it is only materialistic. It doesn't mean shit. It does. You will... Everybody that gets a new car, they're loving it and they're happy. I just need...
for 3 weeks.
Yeah, and then the novelty wears off. Like girls, they need these shoes and they'll be the happiest, but then it's always something else. And same as the guys. You see all these guys jumping about in their lease cars and their fake Rolexes, and they think...
Finance whips.
Yeah, and they think they're big ballers. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot of... I think can be a lot... But then again... Whatever makes you happy, and who am I to judge? You know what I mean? If somebody says there's a Range Rover, I'm not going to fucking knock it back. Do you know what I mean? But you've still got to understand that it's not everything in life, and I think that's where so many people go wrong, because people think too much competing nowadays. Who's got the biggest? Who's got the better? And then it is all bullshit. It is all bullshit.
I used to spend a lot of time in the luxury car world, like supercars. I used to have a business, and I would transport sports cars. Ferraris, Lambos, McLarens. Jaguars, Range Rovers, funnily enough, Bentleys, this was the stock in trade. And yeah, it's wild. When I was younger, and when I say younger, I mean up until about 5 years ago, I was all about supercars and you need to get this and you need to get that. But the reality is, it's like they're so bloody uncomfortable inside. But when I was meeting these people, and it's like, they've got the 670, it's like they want the 670 LS, or like when they've got the 440, they want the 440 with like the special interior. It's like, for a lot of people, it's never enough. And I think that's because there's something, and this isn't me running down anyone that's successful, because successful, people, great, rich people, great, but how do you define your success, or how do you define your richness? Because during my time as a bodyguard, I met some remarkably successful people and some super rich people, the kind of people that fly into Scotland on jets that don't have any tags on them. The kind of people that travel internationally but they don't actually have passports, not criminal incidentally, all well above board, and it's like they have the same problems that we do, like exactly the same. So just because somebody has tons of money, I don't necessarily think that makes them rich, and I generally don't think it makes them happy.
1,000,000% is I keep repeating it, man. The real wealth is in your head, and you will see a lot of, like I say, there's billionaires out there who really want to commit suicide because it gets too much. I think the more money, then they will have the more problems. I'm going a bit Biggie Smalls there, but it's true. Do you know what I mean? Everybody wants a piece of you, and you kind of I believe you become more guarded. You're more selective that who you surround yourself with, who's using you, and who's there for the right reasons. But a lot of people who think success is how big your car is or how big your house is, then you're just setting yourself up for failure, because there's a lot of people out there who are so wealthy that they can change a lot of the bad things that happen in life to good. I think there's so many people could help out a bit more through like homelessness or through poverty, and they don't utilise their wealth as where they should. But who do we fucking judge, do you know what I mean? I just think that there could be more things you're doing, because people forget the gift in life is giving. As soon as you help somebody, you ain't helping them, because I keep saying it, as soon as you help somebody, it automatically feels good. And I think that's where we're going wrong in life. That's what, as human beings, that's what we should be getting more involved in, helping each other, because 7 billion people in the world. Can you imagine everybody helped out and everybody was on the same path and feeling good? But wealth and greed has just totally took control, where the poor stay poor and the rich are just, they're going leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, I believe in doing a random act of kindness every day, and I used to think that it was about doing that, but not necessarily telling the person. But what I've started doing is, so I'll give you an example. So it was last Friday, and Friday night is treat night in our house, and treat night for me is 2 bottles of Corona, because I'm not a big drinker, but it's 2 bottles of Corona. Other beers are available. Do you know what I've been saying? Other things are available because I've been on the radio today. But so I will have 2 Coronas, and I'll generally get like a large pizza, generally pepperoni or whatever, from this wicked chippy in Woodlands Road. And my girlfriend will have chips. She's a semi-professional athlete, and she'll have a couple of gins. So I'll generally go down the road. Kath will come back in from her stuff. I'll go, oh, do you want a treat dinner tonight? Yep, sounds good. So I'll go down. So I went and ordered the pizza, and while the pizza was cooking, I went in to get the bottles of Corona. And there's a guy at the till who's in front of me, and I don't know if he's just we're allowed to swear, aren't we? Of course we are.
Yeah, fuck, okay. Anything goes, man.
I'm not saying it was a miserable face torn bastard, but he certainly wasn't having a good day of it, and it wasn't he was being angry. It was just his body composition and like his tone and his posture. He just didn't look as if he was dialed into what I would call like a good vibe or like a good existence. So he's talking away to the guy behind the counter, and they're talking about beer, and the guy's going, oh, well, we don't have that one. And he said, but there's that other one that you like, and we'll say it's called Old Speckled Hen or whatever. So the guy goes and gets a bottle of beer, and I just turned around to the guy and I said, do you believe in random acts of kindness? And he was like, he sort of looked over at it and shot me like a really sort of dirty look, but like sort of confused and angry, which sort of confirmed what I was thinking. And I was like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy your bottle of beer for you just now, and within a period of 24 hours you need to do a random act of kindness for somebody else, and if you want you can make it to the same value, but it can't be somebody that you know. It has to be a complete stranger. And he was like, well, why? And then the guy behind the counter said, why? And I said, well, if we want to see a change in the world, then we need to take responsibility for that, and we have to affect that change. We can't expect somebody else to do it for us. And the guy behind the counter he got it straight away. He was like, oh, cool, man. Yeah, good. And then the guy said, why are you doing that? And I was like, because I don't know. I said, I get a lot out of buying that bottle of beer for you and showing you kindness. I said, I don't even know how much a bottle of beer is. And then the guy behind the counter said it's £5.60. And I was immediately like, fuck, who drinks bottles of beer at £5.60? But I'm hoping that at that point, that when he left, not only did he feel a wee bit better, because he looked a wee bit taller and he was walking out the shop, but my thing is that I'm hoping that at that point he went home and maybe he told 5 of his mates.
Like pay it forward.
Yeah, and maybe the person that's an old age pensioner and she stays like 2 doors down, and he notices it in a Sunday, like she goes down to the park, and maybe he's going to say, I'll take you for a cup of tea and an Empire biscuit. I don't know what it is. The thing is, I will never find out what it is. The chance of me seeing the guy again are very slim. But
what shop was this?
It was Oddbins in Woodlands Road.
If you ever listen to this, mate, then we'd like to know back from you if you ever did pay it forward and help someone else. I think that's a good idea. I think people are shocked. Glasgow never used to be like that. I think people are so caught up, and people are shocked when people do good things. And there is so much goodness out there, man. There's so much good people, and we just don't hear about it because people are so caught up in the news or the telly or papers, and it's fucking all garbage.
But what's in the paper today? That stuff in America about the 16 kids getting shot.
Yeah, so when your subconscious mind clings onto that. So if you're reading that every day, if you're watching the news every night, your
programming.
Your subconscious mind will 60,000-70,000 thoughts a day, and it will just remind you that the world's a bad place, and that's where people's energies are so low. That guy might have heard that on the radio. You just don't know people's stories as well. Somebody might just be having a bad day, just maybe they never get their fucking hole, maybe whatever. Do you know what I mean?
You don't know what they're dealing with.
Do you not know what they're dealing with? They could have lost a loved one. You just don't know. But I just think people are so caught up in all the negatives that they forget that there is so much goodness goes on in the world, that if there's a catastrophe, people want help, man. People as human beings, man, our instincts is to help, and I think there is so much goodness goes on, and like that, I like that idea of paying it forward and doing a good deed for somebody. Can you imagine 7 billion people did that?
I think it's important to do it, and I think it's important to engage people. So as I said, Mark and I train at the gym like really early in the morning. So the reality is that by the time we go to Sainsbury's petrol station at 7 o'clock in the morning, we've already been awake for like an hour and a quarter, an hour and a half. We've been pulling weights or we've been running, so we're a wee bit more dialed in than everyone else is. So when we go into the petrol station, we're possibly a wee bit hyper. And I went into the queue and I was getting a pint of milk. So I was getting like 4 pints of milk or whatever it is. And Mark was getting the same. And then there was a lassie that was in between us. And she'd obviously just woken up and she was going to work and she just had to stop and fill her car. So she's just like, that's the last thing you want to do on your way to work or whatever. And I just said to her, oh, how's your day going? And she went like, well, it's just started and it's not looking too great. And I don't think she was talking about the fact that this Yeti was like engaging in the conversation. I think she was talking about the fact that like, well, it wasn't good because maybe she'd slept in because her hair wasn't done. Although she looked great and you don't need to do your hair every day. But she just wasn't in that resourceful frame of mind. And I just said to her, well, do you know what? I said, it might get better before you think it might. And then she just went like, oh, I don't know.
But do you think...
But here's the thing. She went up to the till and she took that like same vibe to the girl that's behind the counter. So while she was getting her stuff, I grabbed one of those, I think it's Cadbury's or Nestle, the Malteser bunny things, red packaging. Mm-hmm. Which was 50p, which is nothing in the grand scheme of things. So I bought it, and she was right at the door, and I was a few up, but she was getting more stuff. So just before I left, I just walked over, and I put it in her hand, and I said, look, there you go, I told you today would get better. And at that point, I walked out. So Mark and I had a bit of a conversation. Mark walks right, I walked left, and then go up the hill. While I was going up the hill, this girl in the car was like peeping the horn, like, not like you. It's just like, and then just looked over, like she had the window down, she was like totally waving, like really, really happy. So it's like, I mean, I don't know how long that's going to last, but maybe that means that she might be a doctor, and maybe when she goes into hospital, as opposed to somebody saying, how's your day going? She's just going to go, yeah, do you know what, I slept in today and I had to go and get petrol in the car because my boyfriend hadn't filled up before he came home. Mm-hmm. She's going to be like, oh, I had an amazing day. Like, I was in the garage and this like Yeti came in and like he was talking away to me, and then he ended up giving me this like Malteser like thing. So,
but it is amazing how such a small act of kindness can change your whole outlook. But do you think that's where you're quite, because you're a high frequency, you're quite a positive guy and happy guy, cheery guy. You're lovable. Do you think, but not everybody's like you, and you can obviously sense their energies, and you think, how do you, obviously you can sense that, how do you think you can sense that, just with a posture or?
No, I've went through stages of depression in my life. Mm-hmm. I can like go back to like primary school. I can like, pick up like, real things from my youth where it was just like, this is not right, I don't know what it is. There's been times where I'd say like through work and stuff I've been like properly fatigued. So I think because I've went through some of that stuff, I'm more aware of it because I've experienced it myself. And if a big thing is posture, because if you're not feeling confident and you hold yourself down, tone is another really big thing. And then it's like, how willing are you to engage in some? So I'm an NLP practitioner as well. I've spent so much time working with folk, like from the age of 14, like every single job that I've had has been involved in customer facing. Whether it was glass collecting, working in a checkout, doing PR for clubs, DJing, scaffolding, paint and decorating, the majority of the stuff has always been like towards customers. So I think I just pick up on it. But I also think that I'm always like that. There's a film called Little Lord Fauntleroy, and this boy's brought up, and his mum says to him, the world should be a better place because a man has lived. And he's brought up knowing this, and if anyone has seen the film, they know what I'm talking about. Basically, there's a rich aristocrat in England, and he has a son, and the son goes off and he has an affair with this woman. They have a kid, and then I believe that the son dies. The old guy, who is like Lord of the Manor, he decides to distance himself from the whole thing because he's embarrassed about it, because this is back in the day, and it just didn't go on. But he realises he now has a grandson and he wants to connect with him, so he says that she should come over, she can come and stay in the village, and he can, be heir to the empire, kind of carry on. So it's a time of the Industrial Revolution, and the wee boy sees that there's all this squalor, and like everyone has really bad environments. So he just says to his granddad, why is all this stuff going on? Like, why is this so horrible? And then he's going, oh, well, that's just the way it is. And then he keeps on saying to the granddad, oh, well, mum says that the world should be a better place because a man has lived. And I don't know why, but it's really stuck with me. And it's like, if you're going through life and you see something, and whether it's somebody that's fallen over and they've cracked their head and there's blood spilling out of them, you're going to go and help them. But if you see somebody and they're having like a crap day or whatever, and you spot that, I think as a human being, it's your responsibility to go up and say, are you alright? And they might turn around and go, no, I'm not. Now, you might not have all the answers, you might not be able to fix it, but the fact that you've taken the time to connect with them, that means that they're not isolated. The fact that you've listened to them, it makes them know that they're not alone, and when you leave them, they're going to be in a better state than when you found them. And it's like, if it's not about connecting with other human beings and like trying to improve stuff, it's like what are we here for? Because it's not Range Rovers and suntans and tattoos.
1,000,000%, man. Like I said, depression. How long did you battle depression for?
I'd say it's kind of ongoing. I think it's always been there.
I think it will always be there for some. Did you take anything for it?
No. So when I was in my 20s, I had a couple of things that didn't go according to plan. And at that point, it was like, I think it was perhaps its most powerful. And yeah, it was just things were really, really bad, and I was really struggling with it, like really struggling.
Suicide?
Yeah, certainly something I contemplated, like certainly, yeah. And I just thought, right, I need to change my environment, and luckily enough I've got family that live in Australia, and I just thought, well, if I can hang on, so I made a date of I was going to go to Australia in this date, and I thought if I can hang on until then, and the idea was that if I could see out the rest of the winter and then go through the summer, and then when I arrived, it would mean that I'd be arriving for the Australian summer, and then it'd mean I'd have 2 summers back to back, and it'd be in a different environment, and I would have to say that going to Australia certainly saved my life. Amazing.
If anybody, what do you think the key element is for the shift, for understanding that, because depression is on the rise and a lot of people are getting, I think, more depressed. I just think there's like a chemical imbalance where we're forgetting the important things in life, and it is easy to go that low, because I've battled with it as well. That's where all my madness came in, to kind of try and pick me up when really it was making it 100 times worse. For anybody listening, would you think, what made you change, and how did you change?
Okay, so I'll probably start off with like how to make a mess of it, if you want. I think that's the easiest way to do it. So if you're feeling bad, and if you deprive yourself of sleep, that'll go. If you decide that you want to eat really badly, then that will certainly get you there. If you decide to throw in drugs and alcohol, that will get you there. If you decide to renege on responsibilities that you have, then that will get you there. If you decide that you want to go out with a girl and then you end up splitting up, then that will get you there. And then if you lose a job, that will get you there. And then if you can't speak to your friends, then that will get you there. So I'd say that's like about 7. So if you manage to rack up all those 7 within a certain period of time, it's almost like that momentum from, 1's easy to deal with. By the time you get up to 3 things back to back, And it's almost like you say, like tearing the roof down. It's like 4 can go really easy, and then before you know it, you're at number 7. So for me, it was changing the environment that it was in, and going to Australia was the best thing ever. And I'm kind of tempted to say, would I be here if I hadn't went to Australia? I'd say it's kind of 50-50, but certainly going away and like changing that environment. But yeah, I mean, if you're wanting to get better, like, if anyone's struggling just now, and the thing is, everyone struggles, but if you want to identify that you're struggling, it's not something to be ashamed of, and everyone goes through it at one point in life, and guys do go through it, and I'll get why guys go through it more than I think women. But if you want to sort yourself out, get into a routine, get into morning routine, get into nighttime routine, set some goals down, put down 5 things that you're happy with, put 5 things that you're unhappy with, work out that you are a pretty cool person because you've got these 5 strengths, these 5 pluses, these 5 benefits, and then what to do is basically write down the 5 things that you want to change and then go and change them. But diet, sleep, exercise, I think exercise is so important.
Exercise, I believe, is a big factor. The endorphins, the feel-good factor, and it's scary to think that people don't think they're good enough, or they don't think they're strong enough. But you've got to remember, man, I think it's 400 trillion to win for that sperm to fucking make it. So already you're a fucking winner with all that. And then it's just when you get sidetracked and you think you're not worthy, or you think you're not good enough, man, people need to realise they are good enough. It's just, they don't have to be these dark times, man. I can understand why people don't want to speak out about it, because there's so much pride, but everybody's got problems, man. For anybody that's going to listen to this, man, everybody has got problems, and anybody can change. Just look at yourself, man, how amazing you're doing, man. I take my hat off to you, man, because I think you're a great guy, man. You're one of the best guys I know, mate, and all your stuff that you went through has made you who you are today, and that's why I believe we get on so well, because we have fucked up in the past, but look, we're sitting here, man, and like I say, man, anybody that's got depression or whatever, I'm not a fucking doctor, and I'm not saying that don't do what doctors prescribe, but when doctors are prescribing Valium, what it does is numbing your pain. Your problems are still going to be there, and some of the boxes will tell you that you can't go suicidal with taking some of these prescription pills. How the fuck's that going to work? For me personally, like I say, I'm not a doctor. Going for a nice walk through the woods or the seaside and just writing things down that you're grateful for, because even though if you're depressed or feeling low, there's always somebody out there worse, and it's got less. It's just about trying to waking up and realise, man, do you know what, I can have a great life, and no matter how low you think you are, man, you can do it and achieve still whatever the fuck you want to do, man. And it does scare me how much pharmaceutical drugs get thrown out there to kind of numb pain and forget.
I think certainly it's worthwhile reiterating, yeah, if you are having problems, and go and see your GP or whatever. But I think the big thing for guys is, like, I've done a small amount of work in suicide with Samaritans, and with an organisation in Australia, and with my friend who's an NHS liaison psychiatric nurse, which gets easier to say after the 10th time. But if you're having problems, and go and speak to somebody, but you should be speaking to your mates, you should be speaking to your mum, your dad. There's nothing to be ashamed about. There's nothing wrong with turning round to your dad, your brother, your mum, your sister, your girlfriend, saying, do you know what, I'm struggling with this right now. Can I share this with you? Aye, of course you can, because I don't think that anyone within your immediate circle is going to go, hey, no, James, shut your face, let's talk about football, let's talk about birds. But guys need to learn how to talk, and guys need to realise that they are not alone. A lot of people, if not everyone, suffers from it. See, if you and I go to Sucky Hall Street 6 hours from now, you will see girls, and the girls will be crying, and their pal will put an arm round and go, what are you crying for? Oh, well, I realised that, like, this thing's not going right, and, that guy might not love me. What are you talking about? Of course he loves you. Like, maybe he's just going through it. Guys will be eating food, they'll be fighting, they'll be shouting, they'll be swearing. And why? Because they're so tight and they're so built up with this emotion and this anger that it's the only way that they can do it is when they're just almost at the point where they can pass out. They're drinking themselves into unconsciousness and into oblivion, and it's only at that moment that they're able to express themselves as guys.
Of course, but when you're a young boy, what happens is if you cry, you fall. Man up, stop crying. You're a man. Stop it. So
you're too emotional.
Yeah, you don't really. It's all right to cry, man. All I fucking do is cry. I cry at the slightest. I'll cry myself. I've still not came across where I'll just cry in the street, but adverts or films, I'll see myself cry, and I'll think to myself, I'm like a woman. Well, probably I am, but it's we're taught now how to handle feelings and emotions. You're a young boy, man up, toughen up. So all your feelings and emotions get put to the side, and I think that's where it all builds up. And I think that's where we're not getting taught to feel our emotions, and we're hurt and pain. It's okay to be in pain. I think people get it confused where, like, depression and grieving, they kind of think if you're grieving then you're kind of depressed, but I think it's okay to grieve as well. It's okay to cry. Do you know what I mean? It's a human emotion to be upset, but as long as we can say, right, don't do it for too long and kind of not snap yourself out of it, but accept it. And I think that's where some of the schooling goes wrong, where we're not getting taught as a young age to show love, compassion, honesty, how to handle money, how to handle relationships, and even getting taught about death, I believe, because death happens, man. We're not getting taught to handle it.
It's unavoidable.
Yeah, so if somebody dies, we're not getting taught to handle it. When I lost my dad, man, I went right off the rails because I never had that.
What age were you?
23.
Right.
But I never had that to try and keep me on the straight and narrow. Do you know what I mean? But I just think when somebody dies, or a loved one dies, I think we go right off the rails, because we don't know how to handle it. We should get, I know you don't want to really talk about your children, but it has to be done. If we get taught about it, look, loved ones die, we should get taught how to handle these situations. I don't think we get taught well enough how to handle pain and hurt. We kind of put it to the side, but I just think we could maybe throw some of that in. Even NLP is a good thing to study, how people study and how they stance, and you say, wait a minute, just having a bad day, just give them a bit of time. And I think there's something could be changed to maybe change the mindset, because depression is on the rise, and I just think maybe it's conditioning for a young age to maybe work and change it from the schooling.
I lost my mum when I was third year, between third and fourth year, doing exams, so I think that makes you like 14 or 15 or whatever, and it just shattered my world inside out. I had no idea what was going on, like whatever reality I had was forever removed. And I'm not saying this because poor Stephen or whatever. I'm sharing like the absolute truth. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know how I was supposed to react, and yeah, I mean,
we don't know how to handle it, and I just think
nobody does at that age, unless somebody sits down with you and says. But I mean, if you go to a funeral just now and it's like, and if you're a guy and you're crying in the church, that's acceptable, yes or no?
Some people, no, I don't think so.
If you get to the reception and you're crying, is that acceptable, yes or no?
No.
If you're standing in the car park and there's two guys comforting each other and they're both crying, is that unusual, and is that acceptable, yes or no?
It's kind of unusual for people to see that, and I think some people would accept it, but for my friends where I'm coming from, they would laugh. As sad as it is, they just laugh. They go, fucking man up, get your shit together, and so you kind of suppress it all.
What the fuck are you doing? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
I've just I'm at a funeral, we're all wearing black because that person we love has died and they're no longer with us, and this pain, this loss, the regret is coming out because it's shattered me to my core, and the reality is that this is the effect it's having on me. I'm reduced to tears. Well, fucking dry up then. And you're like, well, you know what, and this isn't a Glasgow thing. I mean, obviously the Glasgow Hardman thing's another conversation, but it's like, you know, why is men, is that not on? Whereas if it's a woman, and this isn't a sexist thing at all, and if anyone wants to, like, you know, email in and say you're a dick because you're making it sexist, then have a word with yourself. But the reality is there's certain things which women are expected to do, and there's certain things that guys are expected to do, and there's certain things that are accepted.
You alright here, Dazza? Sorry, Dan, we just messed about with the camera there. Enjoying yourself? Yeah, I think so, yeah. And that's not just the Glasgow mentality, I think that's worldwide. I just think as guys are just get bit more emotions than women. If anything, man, it's the guys that are more vulnerable. We just try and protect our wee fragile hearts. Do you know what I mean? And that's where a lot of my relationships as well fuck up, because I'm insecure, so I'm vulnerable. So if I start to like somebody, I love somebody, I get my barriers up because I think, well, I'm starting to get feelings here. So,
and is that because you don't want to?
I want to end it
put
first
yourself at risk.
Yeah, in case I get my heart broke. Do you know what I mean?
And
that's where a lot of men go wrong here as well, because they'll tend to end things or do daft shit to end it because you're scared of getting hurted, and that's a lot of my insecurities come from, because I'm still insecure. I still try to work on them, and I'm probably working on that today I die, but I'm improving, I'm getting better, I'm becoming more aware if things alright, oh that's still a problem. I'm trying to change it, and I'm trying to understand my feelings and emotions, like, because I never was ever taught it. I'm a lot of reading and try to obviously meditate and calm the mind down and just try to educate myself and all this, man. And it's crazy to talk like that, and somebody used to tell me I was to speak about all this 2 or 3 years ago, man. They go, it's not that. When I was changing and I started reading all that, because I read a lot of good books. The Power of Now is a strong book. Eckhart Tolle, I read Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill, just books like that. And there's a woman called Louise Hay, How to Heal Your Life, was a good book. When I started reading all these books, and then you start speaking to people who the circle you were in, I was crazy before it, so when I start speaking like this, they think I'm fucking gone. They think I'm another planet. They think I've went worse. You know what I mean?
It's worthwhile probably mentions people how you and I know each other, because I think that's I don't know if that's a catalyst for the change in what you've had. I'd be quite interested in to see how that experience has affected you to where you are now. Because it must have had quite a profound change. On
the reality show?
Yeah,
so I met Stephen. Stephen invited me onto his radio station when I was working on Glow, the Glasgow reality show. And we became obviously good friends since, man. We're kind of on the same page, and yeah, it was a weird experience, but it was an experience I enjoyed. Like I say, I met a lot of good friends from it. It is fucking fake, it is a bit plastic, but there's so many people do well from these shows. It just, I didn't really, I was drinking at that time, so you kind of fuck it. But like I say, I met a lot of good people from it, and I wish everybody the best that was on it, but it was just for me. I just wanted to distance myself and work on me, because I was slipping back into old traits that I didn't like, just because that might be a nervous thing as well on the camera, because I got a lot of kind of hatred towards it and negativity, and nobody likes to be hated, or so you kind of drinking to try and numb all that and try and blank it all out. So it just came my time, right, enough's enough, man, to do work on me and do what I want to do.
But do you think you would have these opportunities? Well, I know a lot of these opportunities you've made yourself, but do you think there's a plus side? 1,000,000%.
There's always a plus side. I've got to take plus sides for the bad shit I did, and that was a good side, because it worked with confidence, it worked on the camera, and like I say, I've met Dan and Gordon who I did the homeless documentary with, and Dan and Guy Stephen. I wouldn't have met these people, and like I say, I've met a lot of good friends from it for life as well. It's an opportunity that I took, and it was kind of scary, because you're thinking, fuck man, this is getting so much heat towards it, but I always knew, I always believe in myself, and people say cocky, confident, whatever, I always knew I'd do well, and it opened up so many doors for me, and I met so many people. Like I say, I met your fine self.
But it was interesting, the reason why I wanted to have, cast members on is because so many people were running it down before they'd actually seen it, and like folk are going like, oh, this show, this, it'll be that, it'll be this. And then you just think, well, it may well be that, but it seems a bit unfair to just decide already. And I don't know if that's jealousy, if it's just like,
That's the Glasgow mentality, isn't it? Yeah. You'll get all the jealousy, and you'll get the people who just sit in front of a screen and just fucking hate on everybody. You'll get people listening to this, watching this. You'll get your lovers, you'll get your haters. That's acceptable, but it was the hate. I never go to any, in fact, but some of them are getting some nasty shit was getting said, man.
Really full on.
Aye.
Really,
I hope you fucking die of cancer, and I hope you do this, and some heavy stuff, man. It doesn't matter who you are or what you're on. That shit hurts you, because if I put a post up and I get, say, 100 fucking positive likes, if I get 5 negatives, I'll concentrate on the negatives, and it's hard for me to switch off, and I'll get upset. I just want to fucking type back and give them a wee piece, and so that it does affect you. It doesn't matter who you are, negative, and I get that, but you'll get these keyboard warriors, and I'm going to say they're the biggest shite bags in the world, man. They're fucking idiots who will give hatred towards you, negative. Why? Because their own lives are a fucking mess. All they do is sit in front of a screen, probably sucking on their mammy's titties, eating a big bag of Doritos, just doing nothing with their life. So when people do something that you don't quite understand, they get the defensive, they get the backup, because really they want to be doing whatever and having the balls to do it. It doesn't matter what anybody says about them, they still had the balls to do it, and I take my hat off to every one of them, because they took a chance, man. It never really paid off, but they still got to take this, they still got to get the respect they deserve for taking the chance, for putting it together, and it was a bit mental at the end up, but it's a chance that no many would have took, because people say it's cringy, but whatever, man. It's people are trying, and I've got to take my hat off and respect anybody that tries in life and tries to better themselves. We never knew the outcome yet, but like I say, I'm doing well for it, but a lot of that's through my own hard work and determination. But you get, like I say, the negative thoughts stick in your mind, and there's some shit I'll think about like a year, 2 years ago, and I will get angry and I'll think, I'm not getting my fucking energy. But it does throw you back, it does throw you off, man.
Bit strange you're saying about, drinking to get through it or drinking to cope or whatever. And there were certain behaviours when I was watching that programme, and I was just like looking at it. And I certainly can't put myself in the role of a producer or a director, although I've done a fair amount. But there's a couple of points where I was watching that and I was just like, that this is, just setting up to be a meltdown, because a meltdown's going to get viewings, and it can be quite exploitive. But I think that there was a couple of points where I was like watching you and watching others in it, and I was just like that. Oh my god, I'm like, there's a guy standing there in a paddling pool of like petrol, and there's another guy running around with like a flare in his hand, and then there's somebody going, do it. But
that's 1,000,000%. It was like a free for all at the end up. But I've still got to thank everybody that was on it, because it's opened up so many doors for me. I've learned to go, fuck that, man. It was a bit scary, because it was a free for all at the end up, man. It was mental. It was. It wasn't as obvious, it was nowhere near George's show, but it was like that kind of, people want to see that fucking garbage fight and anger, and there was none of the thing about that. It was never scripted. It was all fucking real, and that's the scary part. Everything was real. None of it was scripted. None of it was just a case of when everybody get drunk at Glasgow, people want to fight and argue and all the bullshit of the day, and that's what some people want to see. But it just became a wee bit too much, and I was like, right, enough's enough. 2 seasons, man, I'm out. Always says I'd do 2.
And if they'd ask you back for a third, would you have?
Nah, man, I've got a lot of big things happening, man.
So from there you went on to the stand-up comedy, which I have also I used to do stand-up comedy.
Man, I'm in a leisure talent.
Yeah, I ended up doing stand-up comedy, and then I had this idea of going to drama school. And let me tell you, if you're thinking about going to drama school, make sure you pick the right one, because I had this idea that it'd be really great and the teachers would be really good, and it was actually quite kind of damaging.
What one did you go to?
Langside College.
What one's that?
It's over on the south side. So some of the teachers were really good, and then there was other stuff. It was just like it was incredibly poor. But of course, it's like that time where you're there and you're surrounded by these people or whatever. But yeah, no, I used to do stand-up comedy, and again, it's like the most fun that you're ever going to have. Like, it's, if you put the work in, like it's an amazing experience. It's incredibly enjoyable. And there's no place to hide, because if you get it wrong,
you're fucked. It takes a lot of balls. My first show, I did up in Inverness, and I actually met a good pal up there, Gary Falls. This he's the next big up and coming thing. That guy's good, man. He's a right good guy. Met him in Inverness, and obviously your first show, and I was just taking trying to get other bits of acts, other people, like all the top guys. I like the old school, like Eddie Murphy's and all the American stuff. And when I first went on, I'd practiced for 2 weeks, man. I was fucking on the ball, man. I was like, right, when you stand in front of the mirror telling your own jokes, you think, oh shit, man, I'm good here. and then when I got on that stage, man, I just fucking froze. And I just started talking absolute shite. And that experience for me was, there was a sense of accomplishment that I'd done it, because I drove all the way up to Inverness. I don't know if I chose that because nobody would know me.
Did anyone know you at all?
No, but I ended up knowing Gary, who I met there. And any stand-up comedians, man, you've got to respect these guys massively, because to put yourself as vulnerable and on the front line like that, it's fucking tough. It's a tough industry, man, and you can sink into the sand very, very quick, man. And like I say, a lot of people think it's easy. It's a skill. It's an art where everybody's different. Everybody's got different personalities. But the guys who do make it, the guys who go to the next level, it is sheer determination and hard work, man. And people don't realise how people think it's just going up there and telling jokes. They don't see what goes on in the background. The guys 7 days a week, man, in their room studying, writing down jokes, and
driving up and down the country,
yeah,
gig after gig after
it's
gig.
fucking tough, man. It's a tough gig.
But it's just that wonderful point where you get out on stage and you're like, good evening, and then at that point it's just like, well, after that ing comes out, you're like, you better get your Thunderpants on, because it's time to entertain. But when you do it, it's like, I used to have this thing called the Guns of Navarone, And it was just like, you know, you would do like your warm-up jokes, like the first minute, like, you know, getting to know you, getting to know me, a couple of obvious gags, bit of self-depreciation, and then you get in a couple of stories or whatever, a couple of characters, and then you sort of bring it round full circle, you start telling another big story, and then it's like, then you pull out the guns and have your own, like, you know, these 5 punchlines that you know that are going to get laughs, and there's this beautiful moment in between you saying it into the microphone, it going into the speaker and going into the ears, which really is a moment. It's not a time, it's just a moment. And then at that point, there's not a silence, but at that point, then you know that the laughter is coming back because you've done it so many times that you know it's going to get work. And it's not about an ego thing, it's just like that. I've made all these people happy. They do not know me from a bar of soap. They do not owe me anything. And I've entertained them, and it's just like, it's a wonderful gift to have, to be able to give that.
As a buzz, it's a total adrenaline buzz. It's a buzz you'll never feel if you've never done it before.
I'm just going drinking afterwards to try and get back.
There's a lot of drinking involved, and you see a lot of comedians. Majority of comedians are fucked up. They're not right in the head. It's I don't know if because my jokes and laughter and stupidity came through the gambling. So I think, I'm not saying everybody, I'm not speaking behalf of everybody, I don't know everybody, but the majority you'll see people who there's something not quite right. There's some kind of, it's a mask you put on, but some people forget. A lot of people go onto the stage and carry that right through 24/7, where they are acting. Do you know what I mean? And forget that it's not really real life, and it's trying to find that balance, which is difficult. Because I was a big fan of like Robin Williams, the actor. You see a lot of sadness in him, man. And I think he's always trying to make everybody else laugh, and that was a stage that I was going through. Always trying to please everybody else and make everybody else laugh, but that was just to deflect it away from that it was me that needed the help. It was me who was in pain. Do you know what I mean? So you try and help everybody and make everybody else laugh, and it's really sometimes it's you who wants.
You can fix everyone else because that means you don't have to deal with your own pain.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a lot of people's like that as well. Not just, but I really liked Robin Williams, man. I think he was really liked all his stuff, and I think he was just a nice guy, but then he ended up killing himself with fucking depression. Yeah,
I think chemically had a lot of imbalances, and it's sad that, you know, someone is great that's taken, you know, so much time and made so many people happy, you know, ultimately took his own life. But I mean, yeah, male suicide is just,
it's on the rise, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it isn't. It is on the rise. And the quicker that we start having discussions about it, you know, I've done some work with Samaritans and you know, the Man Up people in Australia, and yeah, we need to talk about it. We need to understand that it's okay to talk. It's okay to admit that you're not well. It's okay to ask for help, and you know, help is there.
How do you think is depression big in Australia?
So suicide's massive. 8 guys. I don't know what the figures are from him, but 8 guys every single day.
In Australia, and then people always think the grass is always green on the other side, bit of sun, bit of sea, and people think that here. With Scotland, it's always raining. Obviously, you need vitamin D because that's why the cancer's so high here as well. But people forget how beautiful Scotland actually is, man. Just 20 minutes up the Campsies, or half an hour out of Loch Lomond, you have got the best scenery in the world. And see, just walking out there, if you're depressed or feeling, just get a bus or get a drive out, man, and half an hour in nature. And I guarantee you feel more connected and you can handle things that wee bit better, and you realise, wait a minute, even just, I do this crazy shit, I don't know about you, but at night, when I look up at the stars, it just makes you realise how big the universe actually is and how small actually our fucking problems are. Do you know what I mean? It's just looking at and I don't know why I do it, I just look at it and I just think, this place is massive, but yet we're stuck in this very small spot. And I think that's where people go wrong as well, because you can feel you're not fulfilling your potential. If you're not really fulfilling your potential in life and thinking that you're not good enough, and I think obviously that's where all the bad traits came in. I just think that people know we're getting wrong. People know we're not really, our expectations shouldn't just be there, and I think that's where people get stuck in a rut, and that's where obviously depression, like I say, I'm not a doctor, but for me personally, in my experience, it was I always knew that I could give more. I always believed that I've got a potential, have greatness in us, and when you don't fulfill that potential, that's when you start kind of fucking up and going, you go, fuck it. I was good for saying fuck it, but that's not the way to live, man. And I hate that saying YOLO and all that bullshit. And do you know what I mean? YOLO, you only live once. It's fucking true. So why not live it in a way, happiness and joy, and sharing it with loved ones? Because I think personally that I just think everybody has got great, and I believe everybody has got goodness in them. People just get sidetracked, and people are too quick to judge nowadays, and I still do. I'll still kind of judge, and I try and be aware of it. And like, I was talking to my big pal Barry today, and I was talking to something that I was like, I said something, and then he corrected me and says, "Why are you judging?" But I try to justify it, and I was like, "No, you're right. I think we're too quick to judge and realising that we're all human beings, man. We're all human species that we should all be helped, which is difficult. But I don't necessarily see it. I'll see it in my lifetime where everybody will be happy and connected. But I think maybe one day it's a possibility."
I think the idea of everyone being happy all the time is, I'm not going to say mental. I think the idea of everyone being happy all the time is unrealistic. But I think that if people were less happy than they are at the moment, because I do think there's a lot of people that are unhappy. I know there's people that are happy and they're like, yeah, but I think folk need to realise that you're not going to be happy all the time. I think that people need to realise that, 7 days out the week, if you have a day that you feel a bit sort of crap, and you're like, okay, well, why is that? And then try and change that. But I think the idea of like folk trying to be happy 7 days a week is...
It's not human, is it?
Nah, it's not. And I think, depression, suicide and stuff, it's been talked about more in the media, which I think is really good. I can't remember. I don't know if it's just because of what's in my newsfeed. But I think that it's good that it has been talked about. Mm-hmm. And then I think, it's okay. It's okay to wake up on a Monday and like go, oh, like I used to think I should be happy all the time, which is not realistic. Because there's some days that you will say go to the gym or whatever, and it's like you pull a personal best, like 125 in the bench. Whoa! Mm-hmm. It's like, it's not like the next day you're going to go back and you do 126, and the day after it's going to be 127. The reality is, if you pull 125 in that day, it's like the next day you go back, you might only get 118 or whatever. Mm-hmm. So don't expect it to be the same with happiness. And I'm sorry if that seems like too simple, but I don't think that every day can be an improvement. I don't think that every day can be happy. There's going to be a day that the bus is going to be late. There's going to be a day that a direct debit doesn't get paid. There's going to be a day that you forget to get milk. There's going to be a day that you go outside and somebody's like banged into the side of your car. But
you can, if you're having a crappy day or a shit day, there is a shift that you can make to improve that day, to better it and try and be as happy, because you're going to stub your toe, you're going to have a bad phone call, you're going to have bad things in life. This is what it's all about, but it's how you act to these situations and how you act to the bad shit that makes you who you are today. So if you're having a right shitty day, you can make a shift and say, take a step back, analyse the situation, because I'm a firm believer, man, in problems, man, always find solutions, never problems. People are too quick to always get a problem and then create another 100 problems. Take a step back, look at the problem and find a solution, because 99% of the stuff you're worrying about never fucking happens anyway. And I think it just needs to be a wee shift to realise that you're in control of the day, you are the director of your film, your life, and you can take control. And right out like Will Smith, I like a lot of his quotes and his talk, like you can be the director of your film, you're in control of your life, and you can write the script. Because Jim Carrey, I know he's went right deep and spiritual, and I've been listening to a lot of him. Guy Joe Rogan, Russell Brand, I like all these guys in there, quite spiritual and quite connected, and these guys have got a lot of power, but they seem to be on path, and they seem to educate themselves and try and raise awareness, and it's good for these people. What happens is when you're trying to speak out and try to awaken people a wee bit, you're called crazy. People don't kind of get it. If somebody doesn't get it, then they project their fear onto you and automatically think, well, if because they don't understand it, then it's not right. Do you know what I mean? So obviously over the last year you've been in a different change in your life. Education's been there. Have you always had those popular psychology books in the house? No, that's just something that's kind of come into my path when you start reading it. I need to read audio. Did you buy one, or was it gifted? No, audio books. I do a lot of. I can't, when I struggle to read something, if I read something I kind of forget my mindset, because it's all over the place. That's why I need to learn to quiet down. So a lot of YouTube, a lot of audio books, a lot of Kindle where I can listen. And how did you come across that particular book? Had you heard someone talking about it? What one? Well, what was the first one you started on? Power of Now. And that was it? You just thought, I'll give that a bash? Mm-hmm. And then I listened to the audiobook, man. But Eckhart Tolle's, he's got wee bells, it goes ding. But every time chapter 1, bang, fell asleep. He just knocks me to sleep, man. He's boring. But it made sense that the present moment, the conscious state is the present moment. If we think about past or future, we get fear, anxiety, guilt, depression, because we're not enjoying the present moment. We're not in the conscious mind as we're in control. The subconscious mind, if we get into a car, listen to a song, it will take us back to a memory, good or bad. I read The Power of Now, man. It just kind of awakened me a bit. Apparently it was a spiritual awakening I had.
What influence has this had on your kids?
Amazing. Because I've educated myself. I've learned to be a better parent. So I was always there, but I wasn't. My mental state wasn't there. I wasn't in a good place.
And have they not pulled you up on it? Have they verbalised that they've noticed a change in you?
They were younger. There was like 3-4, but at that age they're like wee sponges. But I was always there, but I wasn't there mentally. I wasn't in a good place. But now obviously I'm more connected and better bonds and better relationships with my kids' mums, and that helps, I think, as well, because I wasn't in a good place, man. So it was easy to kind of run away, kind of don't want to think about it. But now that I'm in a good place, that obviously it's rub off on your kids, do you know what I mean? And I want them to be proud of me, and that's one of the reasons why I want to better my life. That's one of the reasons why I need to stay on track, man, because I don't want them looking up to me as a failure. I want them to be proud and go, that's my dad, and that's something that always resonates with me. Now that's something that I want to stay in the straight and narrow. So every time I get these wee thoughts, bad thoughts, that I remember, no man, my kids are screensavers on my phone and pictures in my room. They're the ones that you've got to change for yourself and be there for you, but they kind of keep me on the straight and narrow.
And have your kids' mums said anything about your change?
Not really. They obviously see it.
Is there less animosity?
Yeah, everything's more calmer, but I get that, do you know what I mean? I get that. Yeah, so it's good. Everything seems good. That's the main factor. My kids, they're the number one, man. That's why I want a good life and show them a good life. And because the first few years, do you know what I mean, I was all over the place. So now I just try to make everything up and try to be the best version I can be. And they're the main drive. That's the main goal, to stay clean, to stay fresh, man, to stay mind strong and fucking empowered, man, and not just help me but help others around me and show them that I can change. Anybody can change. So just got to keep good, man, keep strong.
So in addition to the popular psychology, we've also just found out that you're a Reiki master as well.
Yes, Reiki, yeah.
So what age is that?
31. Worked with a beautiful woman, Lorna McLean. Did Holy Fire Reiki. Amazing. So you're Reiki master, Reiki 1?
Level 1, yeah.
Yeah.
So what was the deal? Did you just decide to go, oh, by the way, Lorna, what do you do at the weekends?
No, I always followed. I always got Reiki done through my 20s, and that was something my mum and all always get done. Yeah, they always got Reiki, and they believed in like, energies. And I says that when I was on my path, I was right on a spiritual path, man. So I says, right, I just messaged her. Ended up becoming a Reiki master. I just sitting in a living room full of women, just doing my Reiki course full weekend.
Now, for people that have not experienced it, I would describe it as visually, it's almost, you remember the Ready Break advert where there's a guy and he's like sort of surrounded by this almost outline of orange? I think it's kind of like that.
Yeah, everything's energy, everything's got an aura.
But I think when you're having a treatment, it's almost like a sort of a nice warm compression. It's just like I can't say it's like a rub, because it's not a rub, there's no hand to body contact, but it's just like this warmth, which is pretty amazing. How would you describe it? Yeah, because when you turn, obviously you say Reiki on, and obviously you get heat from your hands. It's not special powers. It's not that.
I have. No, Reiki's, everything's energy. Everybody's got an aura. Like, you can see people's energies if they're in a good mood or a bad mood. Everything's energies. And there's a man who, when I was working with Lorna, called Dr. Amoto, he passed away, but his interpreter came, and he used to, this sounds crazy, man, but he used to take photos of, he used to drop water crystals, freeze it and speak to it, And then he used to speak like, "You're beautiful, I love you," and it sounds fucking crazy, but the ones he says good things to was beautiful. The pictures were beautiful, and the ones he said bad things to was ugly. I think there's a rice challenge, if you can look it up on YouTube, where you get 2 jam jars, fill each jam jar up with rice, say I love you to one and I hate you to one, do it for 30 days. The one after 30 days, the one he say I love you to is still white. The one he says I hate you to is all black and blue. So everything's energy. The way you speak is the way you feel. So if you're in people's companies always speaking like shit and bringing people down, these people aren't good people to surround yourself with, because they'll be feeling like shit inside. So you've got to kind of distance yourself from that. So I know it sounds fucking crazy, but get 2 jam jars, do it yourself, say I love you to one and I hate you to the one, and the way you speak to something is the way you feel. So if your body's like 80% water and stuff, if you're speaking like shit, you're going to feel like shit. If you're surrounding yourself with people who constantly moaning, constantly complaining, they're going to bring you down, because everything's energies. Everything, distance yourself with all negativity and all energy, which is very hard, because you'll get emotional vampires where they see good energy, because I'm always quite high spirits and always happy and quite buzzing. You'll get people who will try and leech onto you and suck your energy, and you will feel drained. If you have a shite conversation with somebody who's moaning and always complaining about life, then they will suck your energy.
It's like a Dementor in Harry Potter.
Yeah,
because I used to have a client and she would come in and, "Oh, hi Stephen, how are you?" Sorry,
that's the gums. That's her spirit coming to get you.
So she would come in. Sorry.
I'm coming for you, Stevie. Don't you be talking about me.
But no, so she would come in and I'd be like, "Hi," and she'd be like, "Oh, sorry."
Oh, she's got you. She's still on your order, mate. Don't speak about her. You're fucking up my podcast.
So anyway, so she would come into the salon and I'd be like, "Hi, how you getting on?" She'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine."
No, she's coming for you. Don't talk about me, Stephen.
So anyway,
this is for the second episode.
Yeah. So she would always speak in a low tone, and everything was bad, everything was terrible, and I could actually feel stuff getting sucked out of me while I was talking to her. And we'd try and cut her hair and get her out the door as quickly as possible. Now it'd still be professional, it'd still be a great haircut, it'd still be a great blow dry. However, I would make the point of spending as little time with her as I could.
Yeah, because you feel the tension, man. You feel the bad vibes, and everything is energies. Everything is connected, and people might not understand that, but I believe we're all connected, and everything is energy. You can sense people's energies. You can sense what kind of mood they're in, how they're feeling, and it can drain you. And there's some people who I don't want to be around, because as soon as I'm with them, you feel something, man, that they're not right, man. It's not normal to be around, and it is tricky. But Reiki's I believe it's a powerful thing. Everything's like, for people who don't know what Reiki is, it's the 7 chakras in your body, and it's hard to explain for people who don't know it, but everything, it's like healing hands, where you can unblock these chakras, and there can be blockages in your life where you can, if something's not right, maybe your love, like try to find love or whatever, you can have a blockage in your heart chakra, and if you don't know what it is, then Google it.
Well, that's a great thing. Obviously, James and I are talking about stuff, and obviously we have an opinion, we have an experience on it. But if you want to form your own opinion, as opposed to, I'm not saying anyone's going to run us down, but yeah, you know, we're basically talking about stuff, and you go and research it, and you can educate yourself. And yeah, but it's popular psychology or spiritualism or whatever. It's like the more you know, then I think the better you feel, because you can have a conversation about it, and you can have an opinion, you can have an interest in it, which is certainly a lot more interesting than Coronation Street or EastEnders or whatever it is. Spiritualist Church, have you been there?
Yes, I went there when my dad died. The one in Woodlands Road, Great Western Road. I was sitting at the back, trying to hide away.
Are you talking, okay, so it's on Sucky Hall Street?
No, it's near, not Woodlands Road, like Great Western Road. I think is it Lemon Tree Chinese?
Okay,
and then you go out to the left.
So
obviously, I'm quite spiritual, and I believe, and I don't really know, but when somebody dies, you kind of want that comfort that they're okay, they're safe.
Is it okay to talk about your dad?
Yeah, of course.
Was it a heart attack?
No, leukemia.
Oh, Jesus.
So he got diagnosed with leukemia. And it was like 2 year of fucking just pure pain, man. Just seeing them deteriorate, seeing them suffer. You wouldn't wish that upon your worst enemy, man. And to see that for a strong guy and somebody who guided me, it breaks your heart because you don't really know how to feel it. I mean, obviously he passed that. Really fucked with my mind, and then obviously I started reading about like chemos and all that, and it kind of just puts things in perspective. That I'm a firm believer now that the mind is powerful and it can cure majority of pain. And like I say, I'm not a fucking doctor, but a lot of stresses bring that on, and obviously a lot of foods now that I'm reading up on can cause whatever. But I believe that there is a cure for everything. I just feel as if some people have been saved by it, but I'm not a great believer in it because it just fucking destroys lives, man. It's just pure poison in my eyes, and to see they suffer like that, it's grim, man, and it fucks with your mind to see people going through that.
And how did it feel going to the church? Did you get any closure?
I went to the church. I sat at the back because I'm always going to these places and I will always get picked out. So I went to the back to hide.
Is the most handsome or just getting picked out?
Well, a bit of both. So I was up sitting in the back, the woman's walking up and down the aisle, and then she says, I feel James, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, that's not me, is it? I'm like, oh no, because I'm only the guy there, do you know what I mean?
She didn't say handsome James.
No, that's what, if she says that, I don't know it was me. And she said, I'm feeling a James. That was my dad's name, and man. I'm like, oh fuck. And then she says, yeah, you. And sure it was me. She took me out and just talking that everything's fine, your dad's proud. And that's one of the things that kind of fucked me up as well, because my dad never really seen my greatness, my side to make him proud of it. I played for football when I was younger for years, and then I obviously went off the rails, but he never got to see the potential that he always believed that I had. Do you know what I mean? And I feel as if I'm achieving that now, and also my wee mum's proud, my sister and family are proud, but I still think about that. He never got to see my greatness, but he always believed in me, and that's another way that it keeps me progressing and keeps me going, because I know you always feel presence, and I believe that, and that's one of the reasons why I want to keep going as well.
So have you got a plan for the rest of the year? Sorry, that demented woman's getting my voice again.
Don't talk about me.
That's okay, she's gone now. Have you got plans for the rest of the year, the next 4.5 or whatever? For
the next year? I've got a lot of goals. Big plans. I've obviously got the documentary that I did, Homeless at Christmas. Thank you. Obviously the podcast, I want to take this places. Massive plans. We've got another few projects in the pipeline. So like I say, my buzz now, my drug is setting goals, man, and just fucking whacking about the park. What about yourself?
Yeah, I've got a 4-year goal. Was it a 5-year goal, but now I've got 3 years and 10 months left of it.
Good.
So I'm going in the direction for it, which is good. And I've got about half a dozen things lined up before the end of March. So if they all tick over, then it's going good. But I said earlier on about being impatient, so sometimes I can, get a bit stressed because it's not happened in 30 days, it's not happened in 3 weeks. But the podcasting's been really good for teaching me a bit of humility and a bit of patience, and I'm learning a new language as well. And that's been kind of good, because you can't learn a language like that quickly. You need to sort of take your time.
Being patient.
Yes, it's been good.
Good, man, and no doubt you will achieve those goals. But in that note, I think we have spoke enough shite. But you also run a podcast, if you want to give people your information, to see my good friend Stephen's podcast, who is an absolute legend in my eyes.
So if you go to www.murderdeathkillcommando.com, I'm like kidding.
I was thinking, fucking hell, man, you get that?
So if you go to www.stephenrowanshow.com, it's available on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube as well. So we've got about 29. I think by the time you hear this, it'll be about 30 guests out. So what would be really nice is if you go and like, share, subscribe, retweet, leave a comment, rate it, whatever. Because here's the reality. In order to get some guests, you have to have... there's one guy that wanted to get, and he was just like, yeah, come back and see me if you got 100,000 views on YouTube. I no worries, mate. Yeah.
After this show, mate, don't worry about that. That'll happen.
Are you aware 4 weeks on Friday? The other thing is that, social media currency. So if you can go into Instagram and follow, that'd be really good as well, because again, when you're approaching a guest and you're trying to get a guest on, they won't come on unless you have a certain number of followers on Instagram, because they go, well, we can either go on your show where you've got however many, or we can go in this other show that's 100,000, and that's reality. So if you can go and follow me on Instagram, I've always got some great clips about the show. But yeah, go and join the shows. The shows are all free, and some of the people that have
and some right interesting characters, man. So this is definitely a man you should be following, because he is an absolute legend, and I appreciate you for being my first guest on my show, mate.
Thanks for having me on.
It's been a pleasure. No doubt we'll do many more.
Apart from the Dementor woman.
Don't talk about me.
Apart from the Dementor woman, it's been really good, and it's really good to sit down and chat, because as much as it was nice having you in the radio station, we were only able to chat for like 10 minutes at a time. But we've had like long chats on the phone for like,
we've spoke, but it's good to show the other side for people to watch, and hopefully obviously it's like you're going to get your haters, that's good, but no doubt that you'll see a lot more of us. And like I say, mate, I really appreciate you coming on, man, and to take your time and being here, because I know Friday night's your night, and
it's treat night.
Yeah, your beers will be waiting on the fridge, so thank you, and I'll speak to you soon. So thank you, everybody. Yes.